Are recording and we are live. Welcome to the Political Orphans. My name is Nico and I am your in-house conservative. To my left, Rob Ambrose, our token liberal. Our goal is simple. We want to show you that it's possible for a lefty and a righty to not only get along, but to be able to have a civil conversation when we disagree. Because never forget that common sense has no political affiliations. What is going on? What's up, man?
How's it going, my man? What are we? Looks like we got a good show on the agenda today.
Yeah, you can't always tell, huh?
Yeah, I like I was saying to you before. It's like it's got that feel of a good show. You can use sometimes, like we're to some degree we're slaves to the news cycle, right? We can only talk about things that are actually happening. And as good as we are, there's only so much we can jazz up certain things. And if there's nothing going on, there's nothing we can do. But some days you can tell, oh, yeah, it's going to be a good show. I think this is
there's some shows that you're just going to show up for the pretty faces and we can shoot this shit together, right? Yeah. I won't blame you for doing that. That's okay. I won't blame you.
Come for the French accent. Oh, oui. Oui, tabarnak.
What's up, Cheryl? What's going on?
How's it going?
I love to start the show and there's already people waiting to join the chat, to join the show. I absolutely love it. It's very, very fucking humbling.
That's right, Misfit.
Because I'm such a humble person, right? So it's very humbling. Yes, of course. It's very fucking humbling.
Yes.
Man, yes. We got some great reels coming out of the show from Jason yesterday. This I think is
we made two, and I was watching them as I was cutting those two up, and there's probably another one or two in there. That's a great interview. I think like I said, I think if we didn't know Jason, he'd probably be at the top of the list of people we'd be trying to get on the show to talk about this.
Yep. What the hell? How do you like your coffee?
It's actually a tea.
Oh, it's because he's drinking that homo shit.
That's what he's talking. He says Timmy Hose. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm from Newfoundland. Well, I was born there, and I grew up in Nova Scotia, but I was born there. And if you know anything about Newfoundland, how they like their tea, it's very British. It's just like brown sugar water. So this is a quadruple. It's very sweet. Most people I know are like, that's disgusting.
And I'm here drinking. I drink high-end Italian coffee. That's
liberal tears.
That is what I sweeten my coffee with. Liberal fucking tears. No, but seriously, man, it's I pay good money for. There's a coffee place here in right next to Montreal where I live. That's they make their own beans there. They burn the beans there.
Nice.
They grind it up for me. I go there every couple of weeks, but it's extra dark. Like I like that really dark shit, and I just put a bit of stevia in it.
You like your coffee like you like your men. Dark,
veiny, black and veiny.
Strong, black and veiny.
And about 8 inches tall. Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, just like my coffee mugs. Yeah. 8 inches tall. It's probably more like 10 inches tall, black and girthy. Just how I like my fucking men, I guess.
I heard it, and this is a totally inappropriate joke, and we do not support this, but I heard this.
But let me repeat that.
Let me repeat it. In that same vein, it was like, I like my coffee like I like my women. Ground up and in the freezer.
Oh,
we do not endorse that joke on the Political Orphans. But a good joke's a good joke.
I don't know, man. That's fucking funny if you ask me. If that should be a great indicator of if you will enjoy this show or not.
Yeah, I think so.
Take this type of joke.
Yeah,
this is not the place for yo.
That's right. I think. One of the issues we both have with sort of woke culture is this rush to be offended by every fucking thing out there. And I mean, obviously, this is what if you had to describe the show in one way, I think it would be anti-woke. And
100%.
so if any type of off-color joke offends you, yeah, you're probably not going to like the show.
Yeah, because we're all about racist jokes here, right? I mean,
Sexist, racist, all the offensive things.
Yeah, well, the thing is if you're gonna have an opinion, if you're gonna stand by the truth and you're gonna stand up for what you believe in, you're gonna piss people off.
That's right. I agree.
There's no questions about that. As you guys can see in the comments right now, I'm actually posting the links to our YouTube channel or to the YouTube live on our X accounts, because I love the fact that you guys are watching. You guys can like, you guys can comment, you guys can share the stream on X, but the point of the matter is that you're not able to join the conversation on that we're seeing right now, because you're missing out on a lot of conversation. Right now, we already have five or six people that are just there are everyday people that always show up, that have always great fucking comments to share. Fans. So if you want to join the conversation on YouTube, make sure to join the conversation on YouTube. If you want to join the conversation.
Yeah, whoa, and
I just pulled
turn into me. Holy hell.
Look, I spent too much time with you, man. I'm turning it. I just pulled a Rob. If you want to join the YouTube conversation, YouTube,
make sure you join.
Oh, doo-doo.
Yes, do. Yeah, but as Nico said, guys, all the action is over on the YouTube channel. So if you can at all, unless you have a very serious beef with YouTube, we highly recommend heading over there.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Oh, Cheryl, I just forgot. Damn. I was so swamped yesterday, I completely forgot, but I will look at a payment method for you to be able to join with a debit card. So I will probably just put a fee on the Discord channel directly. And you can do that? Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. I just need to figure out how do I still continue if you're YouTube. If you have a membership on YouTube, you won't get charged twice. But if you don't have a membership on YouTube, we should have one on the Discord server. So if you're from Rumble and you do not want to support YouTube, I fucking get it. I understand. If you're on X and you don't want to support YouTube, I get it. I understand. But if you still want to support us, I will make sure to find a way so that the Discord server can take payments directly there, because the Discord that we have is members only. We are, so just to recap a bit, if you want to support us, it's $2.99 a month. We're just trying to make this show better. We're trying to hopefully hire somebody eventually to help us out with this, to actually manage this stuff, because goddamn, we probably spend already 6 hours a day. At least I know I spend between 4 to 6 hours just either research, making this, and content that I create for the show. So it would be great to have somebody else do that. So if you like what we do, you believe in the community we're trying to build, then support us. There's a membership model on YouTube that you can join. $2.99 will give you access to their Discord server that is members only. And the reason that it's member only is that we're trying to keep the trolls away. We want to continue the conversation that you see every day on YouTube into a place where it goes 24 hours a day, where we can talk conspiracy theories. If you're like me, we can talk about what's trending in the news. We can talk about maybe what Rob and I are missing, what we're not seeing in the news, because goddamn, it's hard to keep track of everything. But hold on. Go ahead. It's just we are trying to create a place, to create an environment, to create a community where we can have those conversations. So Rob and I disagree all the time. We normally agree on the problem, not the solution. And this is the conversation we're trying to drive. So the Discord server is there for that. I'm the one managing it, and I don't see that going away anytime soon. So I believe in free speech first and foremost. So if you do too, and you want to join a conversation with similar people that don't have a home politically, that are political orphans, support the show, join the Discord server, and continue the conversation there 24 hours a day.
Yep. Well, for a good example is today's show. Today, the main topic today actually came from a user suggestion in the Discord server, and that's from Robin.
I don't know if it came from her because I was just about to post it, but we'll give her credit.
She beat you to it, brother. You got to be
that
quick
that
on,
no question,
Yeah.
question, because she posted it last night
Mhm.
at 11:30 p.m. I was about this morning at 6:15. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna post that on the.
Oh, God damn it, Robin! God damn it! You're like,
Yeah, well,
Robin again.
No, on the contrary, that makes my job a lot easier. And guess what? If I would have missed it, it would have been right there. So it's great. And this is the main topic of the show. And that's one of the beauty of being part of the Discord server, is that not only can you have a conversation with other human beings that will agree, disagree, but civil conversations. If you participate, you post some stuff and we see it from you, we'll share it on the show and we'll give you credit for it, just like Robin got credit for this story. The main story of the day, which is Mark Carney's new CTV News interview that was released yesterday evening, which seems to go against everything he's been saying, everything that he's built his career on. That's what we're talking about today. And Robin kind of beat me to it. So yeah, let's give credit to Robin for being a lot faster than me.
And as Misfit says, we got some good jokes in there too. So you got everything you need.
But it's more than that too. Like we have, like I built a bunch of sections so we can talk about general stuff, general news stuff. We can talk about trending topics, Alberta updates. There's even a Canada-Chinese relation to see if you can share some information about that. You can suggest some guests that we should have on, because we have guests. We try to build a lot of collaborators. They're going to show up every now and then to share about their opinion about what's going on or to report the news. Actually, we'd like to have more reporters and journalists on the show. We talk conspiracy theories. Obviously, there's a jokes of the day because I'm very inappropriate when it comes to the type of jokes that I like. And of course, there's places like Shoot the Shit, where I think it's pretty fucking clear what that stands for. But one of the things that I started because I strongly believe in, and, you know, because of my content creation journey started in 2020. We all know what happened in 2020. So I did start a discussion base called Whoop Whoop. C starts with C, finishes with D stories. So I want to hear your stories. If you want to share what happened to you between 2020 and 2024, that might still be happening today. I want to hear it because, man, I don't know if you saw that, but yesterday at the minister cabinet reveal, there was still 2 people wearing face diapers. So 2 of the new ministers are taking pictures. They're massive equal active. I swear to you. I swear to you, bro.
Sakes, man.
I'm just trying to see was that shared on the channel? Where the fuck? Because I know I commented on it on X, but I swear to you, 2 of the new Carney ministers were wearing face diapers. Yet they were all in the same room 10 minutes before, just almost French kissing each other. But there's a camera. Let's put the face diaper on.
So, that's even worse. That's even worse. Like, if you genuinely believe that you need it, I'll still think you're an idiot. But like, well, maybe not an idiot. That's a bit strong. But I'll still think you're a bit foolish. But if you really don't believe it, you're just doing it for virtue signaling. That's ridiculous, man. Because like, just grow up. Grow the fuck up.
See, I completely agree with Misfit on this one. I think he's just saying to look good. His body language in the Vassy interview contradicts everything he said. Well, we'll play the clip. We'll play the 5-minute clips that I like.
It's 5 minutes, right? And we've got some clips that we're going to play in between as well.
You're absolutely right, by the way. Cheryl, Sam Cooper should be a good guest on the show.
I'm going to message him. Have you messaged him?
You can message him. I have messaged him, but I have probably found a way, because somebody that we know very well is going to have him on his show. Ooh. So I will try to massage him.
That's another great in for that. And guys, if you've brought it up like Cheryl just did, and we're sort of in agreement that they'd be a good fit, like, you can also reach out to them on your own if you'd like. Just say, hey, these guys say they'd love to have you on the show. Just sometimes it's just throwing darts at a dartboard, right? Maybe because especially if it's a big with someone with a big following, they're just going to miss a lot of messages. Maybe I send something and he misses it. Maybe Nico sends something and he misses it, but he just happens to see, Cheryl's message or something, and Yeah, feel free to do that if you can get. Again, we get you credit. We give you credit for that in the show as well.
100%. And you know how many people I've been recording podcasts for what, 4 years, and how many world-known people have I had with no audience? Now it's easier because I have almost 200,000 followers, so it's easy to approach people. They tend to respond more to this, but I've had so many great people that should have never given me the time of day just because I had the balls to reach out to them.
I wouldn't mind having and I know this is someone you've had on the show before, but I wouldn't mind having Buck Angel on the show.
Yeah. You know, this is, again, Buck Angel is one of those guys that would be a bit complicated to have, as in he might say shit that YouTube does not like, but in my opinion, because it doesn't necessarily impact the news directly, but this is also a great way to share exclusive content with the Discord server only. Because that's the next step, in my opinion, is having guys like Sam Cooper. I don't know if we can have him live on YouTube because the type of stuff that he talks about will get us in trouble.
Does he have a YouTube channel?
I don't think so. As far as I know, everything's done on X and Substack, so he doesn't get in trouble there. But again, that would be a great reason to record something live on X, stream it on Rumble at the same time, but make it available on the Discord server, because we can run live directly off the Rumble server, which is something I would like to test out. So guys like him might be the perfect way to do it. Guys, announcement, we will have Jason D from NYC Varsity Sports at 1 p.m. to talk about what Trump has done this week. He is planning about slashing 80% of medication costs in the US, which is absolutely fucking insane. Like, this is going to piss off if Trump couldn't have pissed off more people, he did it again, because that's going to piss off the Democrat. And I'm really, really curious to see how this would be accepted by the big pharma, because that could be a massive impact on their pockets.
Not well.
Nick is saying that Sam Cooper's on Juno News YouTube quite often. Oh, that's awesome. That means he knows what to say.
I would think so.
That's perfect. That's perfect. That would be fucking perfect. So there you go. We'll do our best to have him. I'm betting we're going to have him this summer at one point. So want to jump right in since, well, hold on. We're going to talk about Carney, about his interview from yesterday. We're going to talk about what Trump did in the U.S. We're also going to bring up the Melendez Brothers. That's a story I personally been looking at for a long time because of what it stands for. I believe in self-defense. I believe that Castle Doctrine. I believe that you have the right to defend yourself no matter the consequences. If somebody is trying to hurt you, you should be allowed to do what needs to get done. So this is definitely something we're going to be talking about. And I also just wanted to point out that tomorrow we will do a deep dive on Carney's new cabinet selection. We wanted to do it today, but it's going to take a lot of research. And this is where I would invite the people that are on Discord right now to share information. Do you have any information as to background stories for the people that just got selected yesterday? Because I know that some of them have been investigated by CSIS in the past for collaboration with China. So I would love if you guys that are on the Discord server right now can share some of that information with us. It just makes our research a lot easier. But the goal tomorrow is to do a deep dive and to give you our opinion on, are they going to do a good job? Because having a journalist like Evan Solomon be the new minister of AI is fucking ridiculous. A guy that has no idea about technology is going to be responsible for probably the biggest. Man, this has to be the biggest thing that's going to happen in the next few years, like technologically wise. AI is the future. And you have a fucking journalist with no background in technology that's going to be the minister of AI, or a fucking douche that's our defense minister and never been in the fucking military. Like, so we want to deep dive into this, but we'd like to look at the connection with the Trudeau government investigations that happened in the past as well. So if you have some stuff to share, please share it with us.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And you can send that in the Discord. You can send that to us, on our X account. You can send that however you want, but
Yep.
probably the Discord will be the easiest. So
It's
we're 20
easier to
minutes
track.
in. Yeah,
It's easier to track, right?
yeah. 20 minutes in. You want to
I'm loading up the video right now.
Let's do this.
So here is
Nick says Mayor Moonbeam, the new housing minister. I have several links I can share. Yeah, drop those in the
trending topics put it on the trending topics.
Yeah,
in Discord.
or would it be the show suggestions? Okay.
No. Trending topics is really, if you want to put it all there. I really, really want to see what has been done in the past, because I know a lot of them are shady as shit. And I'm curious to see what comes out, because I want to do the research and do the links myself, not believe what everybody's telling me. But yeah, if you have some information, send it over. Now, here is the conversation we're talking about. This is the interview that was released yesterday by Power Play, CTV News Power Play, with Vassy Kapelos, with Mark Carney, where look at her reaction. Like she's legit. Like, I actually enjoyed the way she was interviewing him. But don't know for you, but I was impressed by the way she pressed him.
Yeah, and just for a very quick bit of context, this is important because one of Carney's main promises on the campaign trail was to kickstart the Canadian economy, and one of the ways he's going to do that was by building pipelines and just big infrastructure projects. And now, when people ask him, well, what about Bill C-69? He says he's not going to get rid of it, but at the same time, he still says he's going to get all these things done. And we're going to discuss if that's even possible to get anything done while without repealing Bill C-69. So let's get into it there.
And maybe you add one more thing. He has written a book called Values, Mark Carney, that is, where he pushes his green agenda.
And she'll reference that in the interview there.
I downloaded it this morning. I will read it over the next few days to see what this is all about. But yeah, let's get this started, and we'll take your opinions afterwards.
Yep.
You yourself, your book Values, for example, which extensively.
Why is it always on mute? No,
you're good.
Was it playing?
I could hear it. Yep.
Okay, cool. So it's me. No problem. So I'll play it. Bang.
You yourself, your book Values, for example, which extensively talks about a reorientation of the market around the climate imperative. I think Canadians had been asking throughout the campaign, and now, like, is this Prime Minister Mark Carney of values, or is it the Prime Minister of the campaign? Like, are you going to build that pipeline if the consensus exists?
First off, I've said repeatedly yes. First point. Secondly, that because I understand the need for that consensus, I'm a prime minister who can help create that consensus. You can't create a consensus on your own, but you have to drive processes that bring provinces along, bring the private sector in. Remember, I've got extensive experience. This is not just a concept to me. I have been involved in major energy projects for over 3 decades in the private sector. So I've got that experience, bringing the provinces, working with Indigenous partners, putting in place, as we have, billions of dollars of financing for those Indigenous partners, bringing in somebody like Tim Hodgson, who, when he was CEO of Hydro One, was one of the only major corporations to have a major Indigenous partnership program that actually worked. So we're bringing the components in. We have to deliver it. Let me make another point, because I appreciate that you've read my book very carefully. At the core of the way I talk about the energy transition is the future of, including about Canada being an energy superpower, is the future is low risk. Canada's low risk is a business investment place. Low cost. We're getting the cost down, including the oil sands. The marginal production is low cost, and low carbon. All three of those come together. We have the ingredients of all that. Let's get together and move on it. And it takes more than just one pipeline in order to accomplish.
And I do understand that.
So, up to now, he sounded almost like a conservative. Like, if you did not know who Mark Carney was, and we just told you, hey, this is the new Prime Minister of Canada, you have no idea, and I ask you, what do you think he stands for? He sounded as conservative as Pierre Poilievre on this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think he could have absolutely ran as a conservative leader as well. Certainly, the way the Conservatives are shaped today, the policies are not that far off. And honestly, the policies that are different, I don't think they have anything to do with Carney. They're just because he's head of the Liberal Party, so he has to be that way. But I just think he's just being so disingenuous here. You know, he keeps insisting that he's going to do all these things and kickstart the economy. And he's at the media for the most part, except for this one here, this journalist who I when I saw this, I thought she did a pretty good job.
Impressed. I was actually impressed. Yeah, I was impressed by her.
Yeah, just that she kind of pushed back. But she, no one's pushing back. I mean, except for her, and even she's not really pushing back too hard on the Bill C-69 thing. And it's just, he can say all he wants, but without repealing Bill C-69, nothing's going to get done. And we talked about this a lot over the course of the campaign, and I'm absolutely certain this is intentional, right? What he's doing is making promises that he knows he won't be able to fulfill, and then when he doesn't, he has a perfect excuse that he couldn't get it done. Hey, I wanted to do it, but what can you do? The law is the law. Bill C-69 is in place, but like left out of that is Bill C-69 could have been repealed. And of course, there's none of that. So he's essentially tying his own hands behind his back intentionally.
I'm not sure. I don't trust him. He's a politician, obviously. There's, Jason Lavigne said yesterday on the show, which I totally agree with him, where that Carney came in to finish the job Trudeau started. Like, I completely agree. We'll release a reel about this, actually. Yeah, thanks a lot, thanks, Nico, for bringing that up. But yeah, we'll release a reel about this week, this evening. But to me, that's just what it is. He's not genuine at all.
No.
But she's gonna press him again, and he's almost gonna have a look within yourself moment. Like, you can tell that he's about to tell her off.
Anytime he gets pressed the slightest, he comes back hard, and it's not a good look. There's a way to come back hard against media, but like, he does it as if he's hiding something, and just the entitlement. Like, who are you to question me? How dare you?
It's King Carney. Like,
Yep.
But I think, like, in your book,
do you want to just pause that for a second?
for
I'll just take a couple of these questions here.
Let's take them afterwards, or else this video is going to last 30 minutes.
Okay.
Let's just finish it, because it only gets worse from there, right?
Yep.
You talk about the merits of a carbon tax. And now we have a different Prime Minister, Mark Carney, who says, the first thing I did in this very room was get rid of the carbon tax.
Got rid of the consumer carbon tax, which is different than
the industrial side, but it's still a portion of the carbon tax scheme that existed in this country.
How much of the resources did that how much of the emission reduction did that consumer
9%.
Carbon tax? Yeah. Well, it's actually 6, but if you extrapolate it out to 2030,
if it went as far as it was supposed to go, it's not nothing.
It's not nothing. It's not much.
He basically just said that the carbon tax is bullshit. Like, the consumer carbon tax, how dare you question me? It was almost nothing. You are the one that proposed Trudeau to do it. We all know that this was your fucking idea, asshole. Like, are you kidding me?
And
again, you fucking kidding me?
And I think it's worth bringing up that we regularly do it, just in case someone is watching the show for the first time. He did not actually eliminate the carbon tax. He slid it down to 0%.
Yes.
The carbon tax is still in place. It's still on the books. And at any moment, he can slide it back up again if he wants to. But what's kind of interesting is here he's like, it's funny because he's like, what is that, 6%, 9%? So he's even admitting, like, it barely, most of the carbon out there still has a tax on it, right? That means 91% of the carbon still is taxed, and those prices are baked in because it's industrial carbon, right? Which means any product that we consume, that we buy, and that's baked into the price of those products. So that tax still exists. It's just invisible.
It's not much, and we can.
It's not much, bro. It's not much.
Don't worry, we're still taxing most of the carbon. Don't worry,
including collaborative approaches, which is what I'm looking to do. And look,
she looks like
she wants to smack him.
If you want a simple answer on, will I support building a pipeline? Yes, that simple answer. I've given that multiple times, but I don't stop at that. I don't stop at. For example, if you want a simple answer on how do I make homes more affordable, I could just say, we're going to cut GST on homes. But that doesn't solve the problem. Just doing one pipe, it's good. Don't get me wrong. It's good. That's a positive thing, and working.
No, instead, I'm gonna assign the minister job for housing of Canada to the guy that destroyed the house that caused a housing crisis in fucking Vancouver.
The mayor of the city that is like world famous for having insane cost of living. You know what I mean? Like fucking Vancouver?
No.
Really? The mayor of Vancouver for a housing crisis? That's like having the mayor of fucking Flint, Michigan as your water inspector. You know what I mean? It's what
wow.
Yeah.
Sing.
Buzzing. Yeah, it's just nonsense, man. All of it.
Collaborative in order to happen. But it's not enough. It's not enough to make Canada energy superpower. It's not enough to build our full potential. It's not enough to truly get incomes growing across the country. We can do much more. We are going to be very, very ambitious. Build big, build bold, build now.
It does speak, though, to
that means
what
nothing.
People in Alberta and Saskatchewan.
I'm watching this.
For your party
hold on.
Right?
Let's.
They are worried that it is
build bold, build now. Very ambitious.
Because they're
build
gonna
big, build
yeah,
bold.
Just gonna stop it.
It does.
I'm just gonna pause it there just before she addresses Alberta.
Okay, and just as I'm watching this, I'm like, honestly, like I'm like, wow, this is all bullshit. But at the same time, I'm like, fuck, he's good, man.
Oh,
like
he's
people
clever,
like
man.
the boomers are gonna eat
underestimate
this
Carney.
shit up. It sounds legit. Just
Elbows
nobody
up, bitches.
Yeah, I know, right? No doubt, right? And that's the thing is, no one's actually digging into it any more than is required. He's talking big and, oh yeah, we're going to do all these things, but again, you keep coming back to it. If you don't get rid of Bill C-69, it's just it's a non-starter. It's like if your country's engaged in a war and you're getting elected to be like, I promise I'm going to end the war, but you rule out talking to the other side about, how. Well, will you negotiate a peace deal? Well, no, I'm not doing that. Well, how are you going to end the war? Look inside yourself, Rosemary, or Rosie, or whatever the fuck her name is.
Speak, though, to what people in Alberta and Saskatchewan who didn't vote for your party are worried about, right? They are worried that it is the Mark Carney of values. It is the Justin Trudeau government. And the reason I ask about that is against that backdrop, right? You are still saying you're going to keep C-69 in place. You are going to keep the emissions cap in place.
At least she's pushing back.
That as evidence of something. They view that, pardon me, as evidence of something that runs counter to what you're saying.
What
right
I've
now.
said very clear. Look,
nice.
I am a pragmatist. I go over and over on this, and I really am. I'm interested in results. So the point of building a pipeline, the point of building out carbon capture is to get the results, to get those barrels to the market, to get carbon down. You can do both. We have the capability to do more, and we have the capabilities financially, from a technological perspective, in terms of the companies. Federal government can play a role. The Alberta, province of Alberta, obviously other provinces, Indigenous people have to come along for almost all of these projects in order for them to actually work. And
he's basically saying that we will build pipelines while respecting Bill C-69.
It's impossible.
Everything he just described is literally what Bill 69 is all about, providing veto to provinces and First Nations to kibosh any single pipeline that they don't want. They can say no, and that's what it is.
Well, and one thing I'm hearing is, oh well, Liberals got some pipelines built, and like, okay, yeah, they did the Keystone, I believe it's called, but A, they did it 3 or 4 times over budget, and B, that was before Bill C-69.
Yeah.
After they put Bill C-69 in, nothing has been built. No pipeline has been built.
And what I'm putting on the table is, okay, let's go. Let's not talk about this. Let's roll up our sleeves. Let's focus in on specific projects, and let's work on them together. Now, very constructive, sorry if I may.
Look within yourself.
Conversations with Premier Mo,
what's your name again?
Morning, Rob. In this vein, also with Premier Smith in this vein. So the next stage of that is to sit down across premiers and other groups and start to refine that list and move forward. And we will change things at the federal level that need to be changed in order for projects to move forward.
Does that include C-69 or the emissions cap?
It could include both. Absolutely could include both. But I'm not going to do it conceptually. I'm going to do it on specifics. Do it for moving forward. And that's the point.
So he basically just said at the end, after getting pressed again, that Bill C-69 is on the table, and removing emission caps are also on the table in order to appease Alberta. That's what the last portion, this is what I'm understanding that he said. Now, do you see that ever happening? Because that's,
No.
at the end of the day, that's the question. And I forgot to ask the question of the day, but that's what it should have been, right? Is Mark Carney going to stick to his green agenda, or will he cave in to Alberta's demands? Because at the end of the day, that's what it is. Is either he continues doing what he was elected to do or what he talks about in values, or he caves into Alberta to make sure they don't become a sovereign nation. Because those are the two choices at this point. What are you going to do? And if we judge by what he's done up to now, by the way he stood up to Trump last week, we all know that, yeah, it would be easy for him to crumble. And his base will probably say that, you know what, we had to do this because Alberta is separating. So we needed to screw the carbon tax, screw carbon emissions, screw all the cabs that we have. Let's build some pipeline to keep Alberta together. They've been telling you this for 10 fucking years. What the fuck were you guys waiting for? Yeah, you know he's going to spin this shit because he's good. That motherfucker is good.
He's good. He's very good. He's a much better politician than Trudeau. Ooh. Much better.
Not even the same. They don't even play the same fucking sport.
No. And he is, as you said, he's good. He's definitely going to convince a lot of people. Now, I think, but again, talk is cheap. I think this is true in politics. It's true in the world. What you really want to look at is what someone does and not what they say. And I think the first thing that we can see that he's done is the cabinet yesterday. I think if he was serious about addressing Alberta's demands, we would have seen a much different cabinet. Now, yes, granted, he didn't have too much to work with, considering how few liberals are out there. But there are some. There's a couple. I think there was one in Edmonton, maybe one in Calgary. They should have both been in there. It should have been at least, it should have been if it's 30-person cabinet, it should have been 12 or 13 people from the West. But it wasn't.
But they don't have that many, right? They have 2 people in Alberta that were elected, and I believe that they have 1 or 2 in BC. So even if they wanted to, they do not have enough people elected in order to do it. But
I mean, I you know what's one thing it sort of jumped out to me as I'm listening to this, because one thing that he said is in his campaign is nation building projects, talking about these pipelines. And I actually like that word, right? Because some, like the original nation building project was, probably the Trans-Canada Railway 200 years ago. And then the Trans-Canada Highway, just infrastructure projects that are so big, they force us to stick together. And I'm thinking, you know what's probably the best way to ensure Alberta stays in Canada is build fucking Canada East.
Give them what they want. Give them what they want.
Give them what they want, because those are reasonable grievances, and build Canada East. Because if they've got that pipeline to the east, they're kind of stuck. They can't go anywhere because they need that, right? So that's one way to ensure it. So there are ways you can keep Alberta in if you take their grievances seriously. But I don't think he's going to do that. I think we talked about this yesterday. I think he thinks they're bluffing. And I think he's in for a rude awakening. That attitude you can see when he gets pushed back by journalists. That's what's going to come out when he feels he's getting pushed at by Alberta. And this is not an interview, Mark. This is the stakes are much, much higher.
But as we started recording, I'm always looking at my ex, and you remember this
guy.
Right?
That guy. Yeah. I have a clip of him. I'm going to play in a second.
I don't know if it's the same clip. That because we both follow
he's in his
gov.exe. Yeah, that's what I was just going to say to show. That's why I brought up his face, because Stephen Gilbo is a Canadian politician. Obviously, he's an activist who has served as Minister of Canadian Culture and Identity. He was, I believe, that he became yesterday the Minister of Canadian Heritage of Canada.
Was he also one of the face mask guys?
Yes, 100%. That was him with somebody else. But I really like this. If you guys don't follow this dude on X, GOVT, as in government.exe, is corrupt. I fucking love this guy. I don't know who runs it. I have no affiliations with him, but goddamn, he's witty. He writes some fucking witty comments on X. But can I play this video? Because it's about Stephen Gilbo. It's just to show how. So you're saying this yesterday on the same fucking day that she gave a minister cabinet assignment to this fuck. And I haven't looked at this video, but if that guy posted it, it's good.
Premier Smith is saying that
yeah, it's the same one I got.
What do you say in response to her concerns just broadly about the cabinet, and how do you deal with national unity? How do you address that right now?
So on pipelines, people should remember that we bought a pipeline, Trans Mountain, and that is only used right now about 40% capacity. So I think before we start talking about building an entire new pipeline, maybe we should maximize the use of existing infrastructure. And the Canadian
Hold on, can you pause that for a second?
National Energy
No.
Agency, you're telling
This fucking guy. So pipeline is using, but that's because it's a completely different pipeline, my man. Like the whole
You're talking
point.
Trans Mountain. That's between Alberta and BC.
Yeah, and the point is like, oh well, let's make sure that's full use of capacity. Well, the big issue is getting gas and oil to Europe. So how the fuck are we going to do that through a pipeline that goes to the West Coast? Like, it's just a nonsense. It's a nonsense argument. This idea like, oh, because this isn't fully utilized, that means there's no need for a Canada East pipeline. The economics are completely different. It's a completely different customer. It's a completely different market. But again, you see the disingenuousness. They're saying things that if you don't really know, kind of sounds reasonable, right? Oh yeah, well, it's not being utilized. Haha. But like they're making excuses for why they're not going to be able to do the things they promise already. So it's not looking good. It's not looking good for the Carney,
especially not on the same day. Carney says something in the evening. That dude says something in the evening. He is part of his cabinet as one of the ministers, and his message goes completely against what Carney said.
energy regulator as well as the International Energy Agency are telling us that probably by 2028, 2029, demand for oil will peak globally.
Oh, shut the fuck up, man. Shut up.
So as far as I know, there are no investors right now. There are no companies that are saying that they want to build an east-west pipeline. And as you know, these things are built by companies, not.
You know why? Because you've put so much fucking red tape in place. You made it fucking impossible for companies to build. I don't think they're interested.
There's no investors. There's no investors. Of course there aren't, because with Bill C-69 in place, that's the exact point. The investors are saying, we want to build it, but we can't with Bill C-69 in place. So just everything about these guys, man, just disingenuous as fuck. And yeah,
see,
like as
just for the people, before you go to the question, I just want to show this before, just to make sure that we're all talking about the same thing here. This is the pipeline that he's talking about, like the Trans Mountain pipeline.
Yep.
This is what it is. So just to give it into perspective, like I was saying, is just to cross the mountains, the Rockies between Alberta and British Columbia. This is it. This is it. This has nothing to fucking do with the east-west pipelines that we want going from Alberta all the fucking way to the Atlantic. And for the people that are not very good with their geography, if you look at Canada, the Pacific is on the west. This would be right here. And then Atlantic is right next to where I am, fucking next to Montreal, like next to Quebec and the Maritimes. So we want a pipeline east-west. We want a pipeline north-south, north-south, and we want more than just one going west. Sorry, it's insane. Let's utilize what we have. We've been building pipelines. People don't want to invest here. Where the fuck do you think the problem is if people don't want to invest here when we have the third largest reserve of oil and gas in the fucking world? Red tape. That's where the problem is.
It's a classic politician thing where they break something and then they complain, oh, it's broken. There's nothing we can do. Yeah, it's broken because you fucking broke it. And I'm just reading about this pipeline here. That's 70 years old. Like what they did a couple years back was they expanded it. But that pipeline has been operating for 70 years. So it isn't anything new. What Alberta is talking about is we need to open up new markets. That's what Canada East is about. And to use that as your reason for why we can't open, it's just such nonsense. I
You
mean,
want
I
to take
can't.
some of the comments in there
Yeah.
before you blow your hat off?
Yeah. And actually, before, and the video that I had was the same one that you showed. So I'm just going to show one more quick one before
Cool.
we take those comments, because it's only 30 seconds, but it's and we've played this one here on the show before, but as it just shows how full of shit Mark Carney is, because he has said,
What?
he has said that
Fuck. That's Blanchet. That's
we want-
Blanchet from the Bloc Québécois.
Yeah, he said we want to work with Quebec. We're going to get these pipelines built. Meanwhile, what's Quebec say about this?
Secularity of the state in Quebec and a different model in immigration, which has to be successful, and the fact that there's no future for oil and gas, at least in Quebec and probably everywhere. And this has to be said and protected. I have a brand new weapon to do that. Mr. Bonin will be extraordinary.
There's no ambiguity there. There is no future for oil and gas in Quebec. There is absolutely nothing that you could take to say that there is any scenario where a pipeline will get built unless you get rid of Bill C-69. Because
that's the whole point. That is right there. That's what we've been beating on for. Well, beating on, that is not a great choice of words.
We've been beating
That's
it
what
off
we've
for a
been
while.
beating it off for months now. Yeah. If you do not remove Bill C-69, you cannot build pipelines.
It's as simple as that.
No companies are going to invest. The only people that are going to be able to afford to invest is the government. And when's the last fucking time the government did something better, faster, and cheaper than the private sector can? Yeah. I'll give you the answer. You know how many times? That many times. Zero.
Yeah. It's it's not. It's just, I wish the media would just frame it in that way, because it's really that.
They can't. CBC works for them.
Yeah,
right?
That's right. You get rid of
CTV News is as much as she's gonna push, and I was impressed. But technically, she didn't push that hard. I would have pushed 10 times harder than her. But this is as good as we get. Is CTV News. You cannot expect CBC to push anywhere as close, and it's bad when that's the best you get. She did a good job. But did she push that hard? No.
She at least identified the problem as C-69. Yep. That is the problem. But you're right. She didn't push back as much as she should have.
But you're right. She did say she was trying. She did not say it out loud, as in, you cannot do what you're talking about if you don't repeal Bill C-69. She alluded to. I think she pushed as much as she could push. While making sure that Carney will come back on her show, where she's not going to lose her job for looking into herself too much, right?
Yep. I'll take a couple of these comments here.
Yeah, of course. We have a bunch of them.
We have got a bunch. Yeah. Northern Hillbilly says maybe they're getting cold feet because, and I believe this is a response to a question earlier, saying that actually his own comment. As reporters go, she's not bad. And then saying maybe they're getting cold feet because people are waking up to them, but I don't think so. There's always an angle with these clowns. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be individual reporters who probably are going to want to push back. The question will be is how much will they be allowed to do so, right?
Like, how much is it going to cost them?
And obviously CTV is in a slightly better position because although they are liberal leaning, they're not CBC getting money directly from the government. So
I don't know about that. I'm gonna take some comments. I'm gonna research this because I'm pretty sure they do.
Mike Fighter, and I believe this might be your first time commenting. Good to see you, Mike. Hopefully you stick around. He says, "Don't worry, if he fucks around, Alberta is going to separate, and I'm going to move from Ontario to Alberta so I can continue my work right now. I'm a pipeline inspector, so yeah, you definitely have a stake in this debate. Nothing is going to change."
Mike, pipeline inspector.
Yeah, I mean that says that job is as affected by Carney as any other job specifically. Nothing's going to change. He's the same part of Trudeau's cabinet. They voted for the same things. His wife belongs to a net zero company he has been in bed with. Yeah, I think that's the general consensus. Certainly around here it's just more of the same. People don't seem to realize, and I don't know how because it's not a secret, but Carney was Trudeau's main advisor. Right, like he was his top economic advisor, and
for years. And if you go back and Google it, 2020 or 2019, there's articles on CTV and CBC saying Mark Carney's working with Trudeau. So this isn't a fucking conspiracy theory. It's fucking CBC reported on it. Just
And-
saying.
And now that we know their personalities, now that we know how Carney is, you know that clearly Carney, you put those two in the room, Carney is by far the more forceful personality. When he's advising Trudeau, what that means is he's telling him what to do.
Trudeau was a master puppet. Like, he was just a
Absolutely.
puppet. Just a puppet.
All right, let's just check. Sasquatch says, I was disappointed Carney didn't make Rosemary Barton Minister of Propaganda.
Oh, what a great fucking comment.
Yeah, look
You,
inside
bro,
yourself.
are fucking hilarious. You have such great fucking comments. Bro.
And Wise Guy says Carney is not in charge. The elites he works for, and especially the CIA, are. Trump wanted Carney because he controls him. Trump will get his way, and that is Danielle's way. It's an interesting comment. Certainly, I think just judging by just body language, there did seem like a familiarity there, right? When they met, they certainly seemed much chummier
with Trump?
than you would. Yeah.
Oh, no,
than
they're
you-
friends. They're friends.
than you would
Clearly,
have
they're friends.
expected. Yeah. Nothing
So-
like Governor Trudeau, right?
No. Right here, it says that CTV News is owned by Bell Media. It receives financial support from the Canadian federal government primarily through indirect mechanism rather than direct subsidies. Based on available information, the most specific cited is approximately $40 million in
Why is government
funding.
subsidizing any news?
So-
I don't understand this.
So it seems that there is money being given to them through what they call the Canada Media Fund, CMF, through the Online Streaming Act. It is reported that it's somewhere between 40 million to about $100 million that CTV receives. And it seems that the fund itself is about $800 million being split with broadcasters like Global and CTV News and like CBC receiving on top of that $1.4 billion. So this blows my mind. Why the fuck is a company as big as Bell
Why is any media
receiving
company, right?
money from but we're talking about a company that's been around for more than 100
Yeah,
years. Like
well,
Bell
exactly. Why?
why the fuck
Yeah.
are they receiving money? See, that's the thing. Yet I guarantee you that as much as you can agree or disagree with Rebel News, they're not getting funded by the government. I can tell you that. What's the difference? Because I don't agree with you, you don't want to fund them. It's taxpayers' money. I never fucking voted for giving $1.4 billion to the CBC. I clearly never fucking voted to give $100 million to CTV News or to Global or to fucking Bell Media. I never voted for this.
Yeah, exactly right. And there's a lot of stuff going on that we didn't vote for. Nobody voted for mass open borders immigration over the last 5 to 10 years, and yet that policy has been put in by every single Western country, including the ones where there are conservative governments. Right? Look at the UK. Fucking Brexit was for all intents and purposes, Brexit was a referendum on immigration. That's why they voted for Brexit, to stop the immigration. And then the Conservatives took that, and then they fucking ramped immigration up by 2 or 3 times. It's a uniparty thing going on here, man. And it's like nobody voted for this, and yet everywhere, all over the West, it's hard not to see some sort of a conspiracy or some sort of bigger agenda. Misfit says if he loses Alberta, he loses all the extra funds. He loses a lot more. He loses
100%.
He loses the country. I don't see Canada as a working entity without Alberta. Prairie, good morning to you. Good to have you back 2 days in a row. That's one of our OG
Prairie's back.
most loyal
Where's-
listeners.
Prairie, what's going on?
James Smith says, also, I think this might be a new commenter. Good to see you, James. Hopefully you stick
What's
around.
going on, bro?
He's leaning towards following his net zero agenda, in my opinion. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, it's not a secret as you read that book, Values. And Nico, it's good that you ordered that. We probably should have done that earlier.
I didn't order that shit. Are you kidding me, bro? I'm
Well,
not
you
giving him
you
money
wanted
for this.
you wanted a signed copy, didn't you?
Yeah. No,
to
I
my
have,
biggest fan, Nico.
I
Big
have
M.
a website that I can use that's called Anna Archives for the people
Okay.
out there. As you see, I buy a lot of books. I always do, but Anna's archive will give you access to what's the word? Very low cost, free books. Anything you want, they have
Well,
it.
That's
It's a great place.
That's probably worth half an episode or maybe a full episode if we actually go through and discuss.
I will actually read it, take notes so that I can identify what he said, because I'd like to do an episode on this.
Send me the link too. We can both tackle a couple of different eyes. Got probably a good time now to mention, guys, if you are listening to us for the first time, welcome. Hopefully you stick around. We are the Political Orphans, and as you can see, the show here is based on audience participation. That's why we do it live. But the whole thing here, our whole vibe, I guess, is I'm a liberal. Common sense one. There's a few of us still around. Nico's a conservative. It's not really about labels here. We're just more about common sense and creating a space where we can discuss a lot of these topics without, being shamed or shunned or called whatever name the left wants to call you, racist, homophobic, transphobic, just because you have a brain and you have some common sense. One thing that we found once we started doing the show is we actually agree on a lot of things. We can find common ground on probably 80% of the issues, and the 20% we don't agree. We often agree on the problem. We just maybe have different ideas about how to solve it. But in my opinion, that's where debate is productive in politics. So, we're trying to create something a little bit different from your usual political discourse show. So if you think that there's value in that, if you support that, please support us by liking and sharing or subscribing if you're from YouTube. And if you really want to support us, if you think that what we're trying to do here is important and has value, the best way you can support us is by joining as a member on YouTube. I think it starts at $2.99. It's the best way you can support us. That will give you priority comments over here. And as you see, we get a lot of them because this is fundamentally a caller or audience engagement show. But you also get access to the Discord server where we continue this conversation. And you'll be able to, when Nico, when you were explaining the Discord server at the beginning of the show, kind of popped into my mind. In a lot of ways, this is sort of like a crowdsourced podcast. You know what I mean? A lot of the ideas.
Kind of.
Yeah, it is. A lot of the ideas, like this topic, for example, came from a post Robin made in the Discord. So, there's lots of ways that the audience, especially on the Discord server, can influence the content that we do. And there aren't really too many shows or any that I can see that do that. So yeah, if you support this, if you like this, if you think this is an interesting community to be part of, please support us in that way.
Amen.
Northern Hillbilly, you always watch what they do and not watch what they say. That's a great point, Hillbilly. And I'm just going down. A lot of them are just, the audience being like, hey, saying hi to each other, which you love to see. You love to see them all engage with each other. The other thing I did forget, guys, if you are on X, that's great too. Throw a comment in, but you're really missing out on the conversation. When you go to the YouTube channel, you're going to be able to see you're going to be able to engage. There's already 100 or 200 comments. All the action is over on YouTube. Now, if you don't like YouTube for whatever reason, totally understandable, but you're definitely going to get the most out of the show if you do pop over there.
Yep.
Sasquatch, in that interview, you can tell he is afraid of Trump. He refused to say anything negative about him. He gave up on the elbows up narrative. It's funny, right? It's and again, we've talked about you could kind of get how it could be intimidating to go to the White House as a rookie prime minister with the history and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, this is what you were elected on, was elbows up. You were elected specifically to stand up for Trump. So if you can't do that, then already you're a failure.
And he ran on this, but unlike Sasquatch, I do believe that he did continue elbows up. He just did it behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Elbows up to me, bro.
JD Vance and
that would be a great fucking t-shirt right there.
Oh yeah.
Elbows up. Hell, I'm adding this to the list.
Yeah. Wise guy.
Actually, you know what? Let me ask you guys out there, because I've designed so many t-shirts in my life. Is that the type of t-shirts you'd buy? Like, out of curiosity, I'm just asking right now because I would wear this, but I don't give a fuck. I'm a big guy.
I think the elbows up one is great.
Hey, bro, I have a t-shirt that says what was it? Something along the lines of discipline trumps feelings or something like that. And I was in the US, like I was in literally Colorado. We were eating, my wife and I, at a really nice steak place. I go to pay. The guy's like, yeah, no problem. Your bill's been paid. I'm like, sorry, what?
Nice.
He's like, yeah. One of our regulars saw your T-shirt. He didn't want to approach you and bother you when you were eating, but he liked your T-shirt so much. The bill was about $150 US. Like,
Oh,
I
wow,
ordered
wow.
something like a fucking 18, 20 ounce steak. Like, it was ridiculous. But all to say, guys, I have a very vivid imagination, I'm going to add this to the list. But if you guys are interested in those type of T-shirts and you would actually wear that,
We're gonna get
let
merch
me
out
know.
here soon.
Oh, bro, because this is the type of shit I wear every day. But people fuck off. Like,
Yeah.
I love to
Uh,
see the looks of people, though. I really love to see. They look
Yeah.
at the T-shirt, they're like, "Motherfucker, you."
That would be a good one. Wise guy says, I ask, and this is a great comment. I ask, would a different cabinet make any difference? They all do as they're told. Many admit they just don't even read the bills they sign. They're all insiders. I've always thought that kind of thing. Like, I've always wondered, like, I'm sure on some level it matters. And this isn't just Canadian politics. It's all, in the United States with their cabinet, they're all going to do what the president says, right? Like, it's not like any of them are ever going to be like, no, I'm going to do my own thing. So I think you're right to the point that I don't think it matters a whole lot. I would say the biggest value in the cabinet from us as commentators, as people who are observing, is just to see where the priorities lie, use it almost as messaging to see sort of what the government values.
Guys, we are joined by Jason D. So we'll put the questions on hold for a minute. We'll take your comments on hold for a minute because we do have the immense pleasure of having none other than Jason D on the show. What's going on, Brett?
Hey,
Robin,
what's
appreciate
good,
you.
people? What's up,
Jason,
guys?
what's going on, my dude?
Man, I got to tell you, and I don't think Nico's being totally candid on what he had to do to get that $150 steak dinner, but we'll leave that.
Yeah. He was elbows up himself out back.
Actually,
that elbows up is code, man. That was broke.
Yeah.
No, bro, I learned a long time ago to just use them lips and fondle the balls.
Face
My elbows are
down,
low.
elbows up.
TSLs, baby.
That's the way I like to set.
TSLs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Fuck. Welcome to the Political Orphans.
Hey, I feel welcome. Listen, life is really tough surviving the mean streets of Hermosa Beach, California. Life is a shorty, shouldn't be so rough, but I'm doing the best that I can.
Well,
so tell us.
Glad to see you're still with us, and every
man.
every day above ground is a good day because you never know out there in the Hermosa Beach, right?
So we got So Nico is asking me about what the buzz was in America, right? And it was something that's supposed to be a big deal, and I'm going to tell you in three ways in terms of Democrats, Republicans, and independent thinkers. The Republicans, or Donald Trump, signed a bill 9 o'clock in the morning that is giving Big Pharma 30 days to negotiate higher prices for the other countries, hence lowering prices in America. And at the end of the 30 days, he's going to instill a mandate that says that we're supposed to match the lowest price of every wealthy country, which is absolutely wild. So when the Republicans heard this, they're like, oh, my God, finally that someone cares, finally someone that keeps their promises. And I don't know how far it's going to get, because a lot of presidents prior to him have said they were serious about this, and when it was time to do something, their tents folded. I mean, Bernie Sanders, introduced a bill knowing it's going to get shot down, but he put on a nice Doug and Pony show for the left, right? Biden introduced something, and Trump tried to do this in his previous presidency, and it got blocked by a federal court. So the Republicans are optimistic because he's been the Thanos, and he's done the best he could to keep his promise, and nothing outside of Doge, messing with park rangers making $45,000 a year. Like, Trump is really like Nico said, he just snapped his fingers. Now, I know you got a question, Rob, but I want to talk about the Democratic perspective. And the reason why they're skeptical of this is because the stock market for all of the major pharmaceutical companies went up. I'm going to show you my chart, right? Actually, I don't have a chart, but I'll just give you the numbers. Pfizer,
like a stock chart?
Well, actually, this is part of my argument, but I'll do that later. Pfizer stock went up 3.6%. Merck went up. Merck Pharmaceuticals went up 4.4%. Bristol Myers Squibb went up 3.7%. And Sanofi Pharmaceuticals went up 2.3%. So the Democrats their argument is, if he's tackling big pharma, why are all the stock prices going up? And my argument is the stock prices are going up because one way or another, Big Pharma is going to make their money, right? He's not Trump's not trying to take a bite out of their behind. He's trying to raise the prices on other countries, lower the prices on us. Maybe insurance companies have to take a hit too, of course, and Big Pharma keeps making their money. So that's the counter argument. Let's open some dialogue here.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a fair point. I'm just looking at it myself because in the last 5 days, it looks fairly. There's been a lot of movement, but yeah, you would expect to see them go down. But I think your take is probably good. They're gonna find a way to make money anyways. Now, my take on all of this is I really think, man, the Democrats are so blinded by TDS that they are not understanding. I mean, I understand why the Democrats, because they're politicians, but the average liberal, the average just person on the left who's a Democrat supporter, most of them are blinded by TDS. They really don't understand the value of what they have in Trump here. It's nothing to do with politics, right, left, whatever. He's a guy, probably the only president possibly in history who is completely outside the system and does not seem to give two sweet fucks about the traditional sacred cows in American politics, right? Those third rails that everyone won't touch. Obviously, the elephant in the room is the military-industrial complex. That is probably the epitome of what I'm talking about, the sacred cow that can't be touched. And I think they're probably so large that even Trump won't touch that. But things like pharma, like the big pharma, that's something like that's absolutely a liberal, Democrat, progressive policy. And the fact of the matter is Obama never did it. Fucking Biden never did it. And I don't think Bernie Sanders would do it if he were elected president. They are all beholden to big pharma, but there's enormous value in having a president, whatever party they're in, who just doesn't seem to give two fucks about the things that all the other politicians just know. Like they just know you don't go after big pharma, right? And this could be a once in a lifetime opportunity with Donald Trump to actually fix some of the things that liberals have been complaining about for fucking decades. But they are so fucking blinded by their own TDS that they won't. And one thing we know about Trump, as you said, he's a forgiving guy, surprisingly. Like, look at his cabinet, right? How many people of them are Democrats, liberals who have said
go down the list
terrible things about him. The other is he's got an enormous ego. You could probably say he's a narcissist. So if he felt like Democrats were starting to be like, you know what? I kind of like that. I kind of like what Trump's doing. They actually could, because he's not ideological, probably more so than any other Republican president. There's probably an opportunity to actually get liberal or Democratic priorities done, but they're completely squandering it because they're just the TDS is blinding them.
Well, that was a very loaded statement. So I'd like to start with the easy part. The easy part is big pharmaceutical. There's an old saying that the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world that he didn't exist. So in America, for the last few years, we've been vilifying doctors for being greedy, right? We've been vilifying insurances for not covering people. In fact, we shot somebody because of that, and it looks like America's trying to do everything they can to get Mangione off, right? In fact, even saying he's not even the guy. Now, the reason why I say that is because every time there's a medical argument, every time there's an argument about COVID, every time there's an argument about this, Big Pharma is the one hiding the elephant in the room. No one's talking about them. No one's talking about Big Pharma. And this is already established as a given. So now, from Trump's perspective, sometimes the only one that can beat Donald Trump is Donald Trump, his ego identity.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
When you consider some of the things that he said, and you have the left looking for all of his worst moments, he shouldn't be so easy to provide them with those worst moments. I mean, saying that he's right that we're 5%, America's 5% of the population, but we pay for 75% of the pharmaceutical costs. We're basically subsidizing the world. But if you look at this chart I have, like in the UK, the prices are almost the same. Like Ozempic, in fact, is dead even. And these are medications for blood pressure. These are medications for high cholesterol, like Lipitor is one of the biggest ones. And
so what was that chart, Jason? Is that prices in America versus
for the top 10 drugs
versus the UK? Okay,
Hold on, Jason. Let me try to blow that up for you.
Sure.
so that we can.
Yeah, I'll leave that up as I
there you go.
continue to talk.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, this is according to MSN, but they basically had a great compilation of clinical pharmacies, which I did a little bit of research on myself. Now, Trump can just be more candid and just he could have just said the general blanket statement, but the notion that we're the only ones paying a lot of money, the UK is actually doing it too, and now the problem with Trump and the argument is the pharmaceuticals, if they don't have the money, they won't be able to do the research, which is nonsense because they enjoyed record profits. In fact, we can go back. In fact, their profits soared. So that's not true. The second argument is that the pharmacies buy their drugs in stock way ahead of time. So if they're buying all the drugs for a high price and Trump lowers the price, they're going to have to lower the price to sell it, and then they're at a loss. So now they have a decision to make where they have to just take this hit for the next few months for things to get better. As we said before in the previous podcast, things get worse before they get better. Oh, and in the meantime, again, Big Pharma takes a back seat. Lastly, the most intriguing thing, Nico, is that Trump could have easily introduced a law that's actually been on the books for 40 years. It's called the Marching Rights Law. So the Marching Rights Law basically says that if we, the taxpayers, finance the development and the creation of these drugs, we have a say on how to on negotiating the price, or actually making an executive order to mandate the price. But RFK in his confirmation hearing promised that he wouldn't invoke that. But I do believe that if you force his hand, I'm optimistic, if not hopeful, he'll do the right thing for America.
You know, there's one thing we need to address that we really need to talk about that is a game changer, and it explains why nobody before Trump was actually doing it. And it's one of the websites I absolutely love. If you guys don't know about opensecret.org,
Right.
you need to visit this website, and hopefully, there you go. I'm going to blow it up for you. So opensecret.org, they pretty much specialize in finding out who funds our politicians. And if you look right here, the category is pretty simple: pharmaceutical / health product recipients. And guess what? Joe Biden at about 10 million, Kamala Harris at 8, Obama at 6, Clinton at 4.6. You know, but hold on, it's Romney is at 3 million. Then you start seeing like Republican, Democrat. Yes, the top 5, the top 4 is Democrat, but if you go down the list, it's a
Bernie Sanders
problem.
Bernie
Sanders, of course. Oh,
right?
Bernie Sanders almost got $2 million from Big Pharma.
About the same as Joe. What's the turtle guy there? The McConnell, Mitch McConnell. That's wild. That's a wild statistic.
Yeah,
but but all I'm going to say is this is why this is going to be fought tooth and nail. This is why it doesn't matter that it's going to be Republicans. It doesn't matter that it's going to be conservative, not conservative, but Democrats. Sorry, they're going to fight this because you're literally taking their fucking paychecks away from them. Because making $9.1 million, Joe Biden, obviously he's been in politics for like fucking 40 years. But Kamala Harris hasn't, and yet she has $8 million. You think that those people are going to go down just like, oh yeah, that's great for the people? No, that's one of those going to be a problem.
Those uniparty issues for
100%, 100%.
And that's why I'm saying like there's huge value, and it would have only been someone like a Trump, who is, you know, and I saw Joe's dramas. I saw your comment there. We'll take that in a minute, but. You know, basically the gist of it was he said, bullshit, the Trump is the system. I don't really agree with that. Like, yes, there are definitely some issues where he lines up very well with the system. But I think the system rejected him when he ran the first time. Like if you want to call it the establishment instead of the system, that's fine too. Remember, they thought they could control him. I think they thought in 2016, they're like, oh, well, this guy's clearly not one of us. And I mean, yes, I get on some level, he's still in the system. He's a white billionaire, right? Of course, he's going to be on some level an inside player. But as far as a politician goes, as far as the president of the United States go, he's doing things that no one else is touching on either side. And I think there's a huge opportunity in that. if and as you know, as we discussed, this is fundamentally just like the tariffs fundamentally are progressive / left-wing position. So he's not ideological. If if you're on the left, there's things you could do if you just fucking pulled your head out of your ass, gave your head a shake, and get away from the TDS for a second and actually try to get something done. That's assuming you want to get something done. But I'm pretty cynical with the Democrats and pretty much all establishment left-wing parties all over the West. I don't actually think they want to do anything that they say they do.
I also think we need to take into consideration to not and continue to hammer the elephants in the room, right? Because right now, leading the front line is Senator Thune and Senator, I believe his name is John Barrasso, right? These are the biggest recipients of Big Pharma and according to Open Secrets, lobbyists, which is like $428,000. So, and those are just the individual donations. I'm not even talking about the regular PAC donations. I'm not even talking about the super PAC donations. So these people are going to be running point for Big Pharma, because win or lose, as long as you're talking about them, you're not talking about Big Pharma. So it's very important for your audience in Canada and the United States to keep your eye on the prize, because Big Pharma has gotten the pass. Big Pharma has gotten the hide behind the curtain. In fact, there was a 2-year period where we called Big Pharma heroes during the COVID era, right? They were regarded as heroic in this crazy warped world we lived in, right? So, and the question about as far as Trump is concerned, the biggest concern for him is he was always a billionaire, but he was something New Yorkers call a billionaire black sheep. He was someone that the billionaires had to deal with, but they didn't like him when he left the room. So now that in sports we have the saying, if you beat me, I'll respect you. Now that he's beaten them, the question is, does he still want to be part of that club now that he beat them and he earned their respect, or does he want to continue to fight for the people? And that's going to be the big question in the next 4 years. And we'll see.
That's a great point. Should I take a couple of these comments, or did you?
I got 3 minutes. I'm actually interviewing an Olympian at 11 o'clock. Kristen Nuss. She's the best defensive player in the world, and they're currently the #1 ranked team in the world in beach volleyball.
That's really cool.
So my turnaround time is going to be wild, but I wouldn't miss this for the world. Are you kidding? This is Political Orphans.
But bro, this is what we've been trying to do something within 15-20 minutes. This is literally between 15 and 20 minutes, considering that we can talk shit for an hour before touching a single topic. That's how we've been doing it every Wednesday.
If I were any more professional, I would wear a suit and take off the hat for Christ's sakes.
We gotta be us.
What kind of questions do we have? Just curious.
I'll take a few of them. So this is one I was referring to. Joe says, bullshit, Rob. Trump is the system. There are some issues. I see where you're going with that. But if he truly was a system, he never would have done this, in my opinion.
Well, if he was true to the system, he would have invoked the law that's 40 years, that he as the executive branch could just say, I invoke this, and it could have been done yesterday.
Can you kind of just very briefly summarize that again? Like what does the law say, and why is it not being enforced now?
The marching rights thing. The marching rights thing basically dictates if we're financing the medication and if our taxpayer is paying for the medication, we have a mandate to set the price for the medication, because we paid for them to make it. So now they're asking us to pay more after we paid them to make it. So it's a system of fairness, and I think it was invoked in like 1980 in the 80s or something like that. And a lot of people don't use it because, like your guy that just posted said, they're all in it together. Another shining example, Joe Biden promised to lower student debt, right? But he did it under the HEROES Act because his administration knew the HEROES Act would be shot down by the Supreme Court, where the Higher Education Act would have been, the Supreme Court would have less of a chance of touching that. So Biden's, saying I'm trying, but Republicans are blocking me. But in reality, they did that on purpose. And my question is what is Trump doing here on purpose, and will it work? And we're just going to have to see. But that's the buzz in the United States, guys.
It's almost like, what you just described with Biden is almost like what we're seeing with Carney and not revoking Bill C-69 in Canada. Just like, I'm going to do my best, but he knows from the get-go that he's screwed. Right. That it's going to be that. Sorry, not that he's screwed. He's screwing himself from the get-go, knowing that he can use that as a scapegoat and just say, oh, that's why it's not possible.
Right. You don't think
Yes.
Obama did that as far as codifying abortion, right?
Oh, for sure he did.
Yeah, July
For sure he did.
2009 and September 2009, and he decides to codify it after the midterm elections, where he doesn't have one of the houses anymore, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and now he's like, I tried, but these guys are blocking us.
What
and-
can I do? Well,
the
you
cycle
could have
goes on.
done
Democrats-
something
yeah.
first term.
And like you
And-
said, the cycle goes on. Democrats and Republican nonsense.
Yeah, and it's you know, and that's one. Actually, the abortion issue is just one of the things it's just such a perfect example of how cynical the Democrats have become. They could have codified it, right? But they didn't want to. They talked about it. They wanted to be able to hold it over their voters' heads and say, "You got to vote for us, because if you don't, Republicans will get rid of Roe." And when they had a chance to codify it, they didn't want to do that, because then that takes away their ability. And now, you know, now Roe has been overturned. So if you're and you can't be mad at Republicans, because that's what they said they're going to do. If you want to be if you're mad about that, if you're mad about Roe being overruled, be mad at the fucking Democrats.
Right. And Rob, the existential threat strategy, the United States is the only country that has not worked on. That works in England. That even worked in Canada. That got Carney elected. Like, you don't want this or whatever. But Trump has won 2 out of 3 times.
That's right.
Know? So
arguably 3 times.
I was just gonna say,
arguably,
if you put on the tinfoil hat, you would say that every single vote that was thrown away, none of them were for Biden, and every single one of them for Trump. Not one single one for Biden, right? Sure.
One thing that you said,
100% of them were for Trump.
One thing that you said I thought was funny, because you brought up Luigi Mangione, right, and how he's like a hero on the left, and I'm thinking, like, it kind of made me laugh, because I'm thinking, like, so the left hates big pharma so much that they're cheering someone who murders a pharma executive, and yet when Trump does something that actually tries to fix the real problem, they're like, "Oh, fucking Trump, he's a fascist and this and that." So it's like, you're okay with the murdering of the people, but you don't want to actually do anything about the laws to fix the problem.
We need to issue a correction here. The guy that got murdered was an insurance CEO. Again.
But a health insurance,
but
right?
That's what I'm saying. Those are separate entities. Big Pharma sets the price.
The word is unalived.
Unalived, yeah.
Right, unalived. But here's the thing: they're making. Let's say there's a medication. They're manufacturing at 13 cents a pill. They decide to charge $1,600. The insurance can't cover all of it. So even the insurance companies that are trying to do right are trying to recover, trying to cover as much as they can. So insurance companies refuse to do things. Patients get hurt. People want to hurt insurance companies, and Big Pharma, again, hides behind the curtain and just rakes in the profit. Nico can go over, I mean, when I get off this, Nico can go over the numbers Pfizer alone got since 2020 to the present, right? They never have a loss. Insurance companies have a loss. In fact, they're losing their lives now. But Big Pharma, we need to, and you guys are the political orphans. It's the perfect venue because you have balls. You know that we need more people out there that have testicular fortitude. You know, that have the gonads, that have the grapefruits to tell it like it is. And I salute you guys for that. But eye on the prize, guys. Big Pharma.
Appreciate you, brother.
But you know, there's one thing I'm going to try to say without getting in trouble here. A certain type of medication has 100% protection from the government
for liability
against the side effect of the product. I'm
Right.
not going to say what it is, whoop, whoop, but I'm
Rhymes
not
with
going to
tax.
say it.
Rhymes with tax.
Yeah.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Don't say it.
I'm very anti-tax. Anti-tax.
But
I
you
will.
know,
I will say
that's
this,
the thing,
though.
right?
Yeah.
How can you have private companies, private entities that protected without them being having infiltrated the whole government? Like, it's impossible.
Well, the answer is
Impossible.
American ingenuity, because right now there's a lawsuit that's going all the way to the lower courts, and is going to make it to the Supreme Court, that you can sue Big Pharma for false advertising. So you can't sue them.
Yes,
if they get
not the
hurt,
same.
but you can't.
Yeah.
It's not the same because the damage is done. But this is the United States of America. They do not want that going to a 12-person jury. You do not want a jury who basically does not like Big Pharma, even though that's changed drastically. You do not want, they'll probably settle that out of court.
Of course, as they always do.
Yeah. Or the Supreme.
They would settle for the exact reason that you said. They don't want that to go to jury.
Right.
This is a great comment from Sasquatch. If Trump was a part of the system wouldn't have been trying to destroy him since day one.
Yeah.
I mean, that's to me.
They
That's
literally went for his head.
yeah.
Or,
Tried to
or
unalive
as
him.
any, but as any conspiracy theorist would tell you, that could be orchestrated from the get-go. That could be the idea that was sold from the get-go, that he is so outside the system that the system itself is trying to go after it.
You
But
can
he's
make
just
that
an
argument.
actor playing the role. It's just it never ends. This is the thing. So
Well, yeah. If you, that's the rabbit hole. Yeah, you could go forever. But I don't know. To me, it seemed like a very genuine attempt
Nico,
to destroy him.
I'd like for you to stew on this because you have really good solutions. Because you were really right about they're not going to pay for it, right? They have big pharma has something called risk management specialists. So if there's a class action lawsuit for 63 billion, right? But if you're going to in a 3-year period you're going to clear 250 billion. You will fight the suit, and if the worst case scenario is if you lose, and you have to pay that money, you still profit. And if you don't lose, you can on appeals. They wouldn't get that money till after they were unalived.
Have you not seen? You remember Fight Club, the movie? Like obviously, it's not based on a reality or anything. But at the beginning, that's what Edward Norton does for car companies. He goes throughout the country to assess, okay, how many cars are affected? How many people will die with it? Will die by that problem that we have? Build a small equation. Is it cheaper?
How much would it cost to do a recall?
Yeah.
And then
how much is it? Yep. Which one is? Do we make profit by killing people, by unaliving people? Yes. No problem. Let's do that. So
that's absolutely how it works.
Risk management is one of the biggest investments in car companies and insurance companies. The only one that doesn't really need it is the military industrial complex because they get to do whatever they want.
Yeah. Joe says, ask JFK how hard it is to get rid of someone who bucks the system. And that's a reference to Sasquatch Chronicles. Well, okay. But like,
I don't think Trump's going to be riding any convertibles.
Remember that, that was an attempt. Maybe that's what the assassination attempt was.
We're on YouTube. Anyone that doesn't think that Oswald shot at the moving target 800 feet away with a bolt-action rifle in 6.9 seconds and hit the president twice, including a headshot, is a conspiracy theorist and a nut, and you need to be shunned.
Well, yeah, exactly. And how we were an inch away from a JFK situation there.
Wow. In my lifetime, I really thought that would, I mean, I'll be on an extra 10 minutes. I got to get out of here because that's something I wanted you guys to stew on as far as the buzz in America.
No, appreciate
Good job,
that,
bro. Thanks for being on. We'll see you later, bro.
I love you guys.
I love you too, brother. I like that role for Jason. The America correspondent.
Our American, so we have an American correspondent and we have an Alberta correspondent. So now we need to find international, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe we'll find an
wouldn't mind
international.
maybe a Ukraine war correspondent.
Yeah, fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit.
I mean, it's news. People
you want to take some?
Yeah. I'll grab a couple of these here. Sasquatch says Obama deported over 3 million people and not one word from the media. Trump hasn't even hit 3 million yet, right? I mean, that's a good point. I think the value is in showing just the difference that the media treats the two people when the actual actions are not the same.
But that's hold on. That's even worse. That Trump is just showing how easy it was to fix the problem. This is all Trump is doing right now, is that Obama had that power, Biden had that power. They just chose not to do it. And this is what we keep on seeing with love Trump, hate Trump, believe that he's part of the conspiracy or he's against it. No matter what, everything that he's doing, the left, the Democrats had the power to do so. They would have been praised as heroes.
100%.
Yet the presidents never went afterward. It was easy pickings that would have talked to their base, but because it's Trump doing it, TDS kicks in. And in Canada, how I threw that back at conservatives in Canada that were telling me that Trump, Poliev lost because Trump got involved. I'm like, okay, hold on here. So Carney won because he was going to stand up to Trump, and Poliev lost because of Trump. So the left and the right in Canada have TDS. Like, what the fuck is going on here? What's the difference? You're still blaming a third party that's been in power for 90 days for how fucked up our economy is, or for losing an election. Like, which
Yeah.
one is?
Yeah, exactly, right. And all we can do here is just sort of point out the inconsistencies, and hopefully people can connect those dots. Tyrese says, I've never liked Trump. The one thing I have always given him is that he says what he's going to do, and then he does it. He does not ask permission or forgiveness. That's a great point. That's a good comment. I don't like him either. Like, I have a grudging respect for him. And for many of the same reasons, I think his personality is like, I think he's a cool guy. I think you could probably have fun having a beer with him. I think there's a lot of ways where his temperament is not really well suited to being the president of the United States. That said, there's also, like I would talk about earlier, there's huge value in having someone who is not willing, or who is willing to buck the system in this way. But the grudging respect I have from him comes from exactly what you said. And we've talked about this a lot on the show. There's such a hunger out there for just a politician who just says what he's going to do and then fucking does it, and doesn't really, like, you think of almost any politician, whether it's Polyev or Carney or Kamala Harris or Hillary Clinton or Obama. Every single time they talk, you can see the wheels turning, right? They're always triangulating what they're going to say, and they're running every word in their head through a filter of all the focus groups, and it's just, it comes off as completely inauthentic. And we've come to expect that from our leaders. And I think there's a lot of people find, even if they don't necessarily like Trump on a personal basis or don't even necessarily agree with his policies, they respect and they find it refreshing. Someone who just isn't that authenticity really does.
That's why he was elected, bro. He was 100%. Elected by the people that are tired of traditional politicians. So.
Yep. On the left.
I want to. Oh yeah, I want to take this from Joel Stradamus saying that you guys are seriously letting me down. What were you referring to? Because we're gonna disagree, bro. Like, there's no point. I disagree with some of the stuff that I said 6 months ago. So I can disagree with myself. So obviously you're gonna disagree with us. But I'm curious to see what you're disagreeing on. And I also like that he goes back afterwards and say, "This is why I'm an orphan, Nico."
Yep, 100%.
You and me both, brother. You and me both. And
I think
Rob as well, right? So
yeah. And sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, all I was going to say is conservatives are not conservative enough for me. People are outraged by Pierre Poilievre, and I'm like, that dude's a liberal. Like, he is a fucking liberal. And Mark Carney, in his latest interview that we were talking about earlier, just proved it again. He sounded like a conservative yesterday speaking to CTV News. He sounded, you could have said, fucking Poilievre could have said the same thing, and he would have sounded like Pierre Poilievre. He would have sounded like a conservative. This is how left our conservatives are in Canada. So, bro, I feel you, man. That's why I'm an orphan too, because nobody seems to represent my fucking values.
Yeah, and I think Joe was talking about just the idea that he's pretty sure that Trump is part of the system, part of the establishment, and it's a case can be made. I understand it's not ridiculous. He's a fucking a billionaire from New York City, right? Like, it's pretty hard to. He would have to work to not be part of the system. I just think some of the things that he's doing, I don't think he's ever really accepted by the establishment, and some of the things he's doing, he wouldn't do if he was part of the system. I don't believe so. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's crazy, but he still has things. He's not going to go after the military industrial complex. I think even Trump wouldn't do that, but. Yeah, I mean, that's the point of the show, right? Is to disagree here sometimes.
But to Joe Stradamus, what's his name? There is a very known professor. Wow, I'm drawing a blank right now of Buddhist philosophy. Alan Watts. If you go back to Alan Watts, he has this Joker/jester analogy saying that you have to understand that you meet God after you're done, after you die, you go somewhere else after this, and understand that this is all a fucking game. So you might as well laugh at it. So this is what I'm a conspiracy theorist, and I can see conspiracies absolutely everywhere. But sometimes I need to just narrow it down and just, hey, guy, at the end of the day, can I really change what's going on or not? Can I just comment on it? And does it even matter at the end of the day? Am I still gonna laugh at this because, man, if I would believe all the conspiracies that I see everywhere, I would be in the corner shaking, just like, what the fuck is the point of this life? What's the point of living if we can't make fun of it? So hopefully we can enjoy it as much as. Is he part of the system? I don't know. Is it hard to believe that he is? No. Is it possible that he's not? Sure. But at the end of the day, does it really matter, or can I still laugh at it? Because I'll continue laughing at it.
And I mean, so he clarifies believing on the Trump stunt is what I mean. Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, does it really, like, he did it, right? Whether it was a stunt or not, he did it. And I guess it's more than any other Democrat or Republican could be able to say. I think that's a wild stat, man, to say, did you know Bernie Sanders has taken the same amount of money from Big Pharma as fucking Mitch McConnell? That is a wild statistic.
That website, guys, if you've never been on, like, the website's still here, actually. If you've never been on this website, it's absolutely insane. Like, you can literally look by member of Congress. You can look by committees. You can look at administration, president, governors. Like, they literally specialize in finding who's taking money from who and how much. This website is insanely precise. And, man, again, if you've never played and you've never seen it, opensecret.org. I've referenced it many times. Their research is solid, but it is fucking scary. You go on there, I put you to the test to find one single politician you like that's not on that list somewhere.
Well, and for every $1 on that list, there's probably $10 in dark money that is not on that list, right? For every $1 million.
What they're doing with Ukraine, what they're doing with Gaza, where they're just funneling money back. Of course, look at USAID. Like, this was a massive fucking laundering scheme. So, yep.
Yeah. Oh, and no doubt it was. Although it's what's kind of weird is how we don't really hear about that as much anymore, right? Like, what?
Of course not.
That's so weird. Like, why? I assume it's still being, Doge is still working, but the left has sort of moved on. It turns out that it wasn't the end of the world.
Or they're not stopping as many as they said they would, because I'm pretty sure that there's a Supreme Court judge that kind of put a stop to a lot of what they were doing. Like, as in, we're going to stop this and that's going to have to go to court and all that shit. So,
Yep. Bumpy Johnson, good to see you again, Bumpy. He says it's easy to blame Trump for the Canadian election because the cons got 42% of the vote. Canadians have shown they can be manipulated by fear. First COVID, now Trump. I mean, that's humans, right? 2/3 of Canadians are leftists. Yeah, I mean, that's that. I don't know if that's statistically correct, but I buy it. It sounds like it's probably around there. Yeah, I think fear is the best, the most common strategy any politician uses to get elected. I think it's just in Carney's case, in this election, it was just so obvious that's what he was doing. And yeah, I don't think you can blame Trump. Like, Trump was used by the left here in Canada and the media to make Canadians afraid, but that's not really, Trump's fault. You can certainly blame Trump for the tariffs because that's something he did. But yeah, I think the Canadian public is gonna. I think Carney's approval ratings are going to take a deep dive if he, pretty soon, because for the same reason, he was elected to, again, stand up to Trump, elbows up, and I don't see him doing that at all. And you could see when we watched them in the Oval Office, there definitely seemed to be a bit of buddy there, some familiarity.
Oh, they're friends. They're friends. Hey, Bumpy, go read. I don't know if you have, maybe you have, but for the people that haven't, go read The Prince by Machiavelli. It's a book from an Italian politician, if you will, or wannabe politician from, I think, the 1600s. I have 2 copies of it. It's fucking amazing. If you want to understand how politics works today, he basically was a wannabe politician that wrote to his king, because Italy back then, I think, had 6 or 7 kingdom within Italy. And he showed to his king how to become the most powerful king in Italy. It is scary as shit, because you realize that politicians have been using his tactics for 400 years now. So
so Bumpy said he read at university, and they said fear is the mind killer, to quote Dune, the movie from 1984. And Joe says, if you thought the movie was good, you should read the book. I thought it was funny because I'm literally reading the book right now, about halfway through it. Great, yeah.
Dune?
Cannot recommend it if you like those sorts of things. So like very rich world building, kind of fantasy, but without like the wizard and stuff, and more like futuristic space fantasy. I really like it.
The new movies are so bad. I just watched them.
You didn't like them?
Oh,
I thought
they
were cool.
Oh, they're so bad.
Maybe
only CGI. It's only CGI. Oh, it looks so cool.
Maybe
it's
if
so
I read the book
gay,
first, I wouldn't.
So gay. They really made it. They dumb it down to. They make it just so convoluted, full of bullshit and wokeness crap. They cannot stop themselves from making great fucking movies to destroying them to appease the woke gods.
What was the woke in Dune? Because I didn't. Well, I guess now that I'm reading the book, I see some of it, like Liette Keen's. That should have been my first clue when it was a black woman in the movie. It was actually obviously an old white guy. But other than that,
you have to look with the book.
Yeah.
Either start with the movies from the 80s, if not mistaken. It's either end of the 90s, end of the 70s, or beginning of the 80s. I remember how blue their eyes were, like the Star Trek blue.
Yes.
Where it's super fake as shit, like you can totally tell. But if you go back
blue
to
within blue.
Oh yeah. But yeah, it's a shame because they take classics and they completely destroy them. But
yeah. Well, I mean, that's Hollywood today, right? Robin says, I like how Danielle put it in the Levine show. If America was wanting to make a 51st state, they would be basically be adopting a large size California.
Danielle put it in the Levine show. Danielle
was she on the Levine show?
The fuck? What?
Republicans would never win an election again. You're not wrong. And I think that's, we've talked, Nico's brought that up several times, and that's probably why the 51st state thing will never actually happen. I think they, even if it was ever serious, I think they really just wanted Alberta. And they might have been willing to take all of Canada, but it looks like, I think when push comes to shove, I think for that reason, they probably wouldn't.
Shit, I'm just going. I'm like,
yeah, just take a look in there. Joe says,
I don't see it. I don't see it.
Could it just have been Jason, maybe paraphrasing her? Yeah. Robin, just can clarify. Was she on the show? Joe says,
Jesus,
a female
Liette, big fucking deal.
Liette Kynes was horrible. Yeah, because I think we would have heard about by then. Yeah, it was, of course, a black female, of course, and not that makes a big deal one or the other, but it's just sort of like, why? Like, it's we don't need that. It's stupid.
It's like Star Wars, what they did to a series of movies I absolutely love, and now they're like so woke. You're destroying the actual original story.
Yeah, in Star Wars, you can definitely see it. It was
to appease the woke gods, when all the guys that actually watch this shit are all my age, or even I'm on the younger part of that spectrum. They don't give a fuck about this shit. Can you stop with putting women in roles of men, putting black women in roles of men? Like, fuck, there's even a Jesus Christ played by a bald black woman from the US. I'm like, are you guys fucking serious? At least if you want to appease the woke gods, put a Muslim looking dude. Put a guy that seems like he comes from the Middle East, although, just so you guys know, there's people with my skin tone in the Middle East that have blue eyes. So at the same time, it's just, can we stop with this bullshit and just leave my fucking classics alone?
Yeah, that's what people get annoyed by, right? Like, if you want to why not create new characters and make them whatever you want? No one would care. It's just the taking of, and of course, it only goes one way. You never see the opposite in reverse, right? And people are just sick of having these narratives and these fucking agendas shoved down their throat. We don't need that. And Robin clarifies here. She posted the show in Discord. Thanks, Robin. We'll check that out.
What I was going to say is, I was talking to my wife about this, and she even asked me, she's like, Nick, she calls me Nick. She's like, Nick, why do you hate women so much? Because did you see the fucking movie G20 on?
Oh yeah, I did. And I thought
a black president, a black woman president, obviously referring to Kamala Harris, battles a fucking terrorist at the G20 summit and saves the day. I'm like, bitch, please. You're like 5'4", 115 pounds, and those massive terrorist dudes, you're gonna kick their ass. Like, can we?
The actual
stop with this
president, the actual
bullshit?
president fought him off. Oh, for fuck's sake!
She is the black president of the U.S. fighting terrorists at the G20
So
summit.
imagine
I'm like,
Kamala Harris. So these terrorists are good enough to get past Secret Service, the finest security in the world, but Kamala Harris takes them down. Like, come the fuck on. It's not even about DEI. It's just about being believable. Nobody believes that shit. It's ridiculous.
but the woke is like, elbows up, bitches, loving it.
Yeah. It's just it's nonsense. Wise guy. Did anyone else watch Danielle's
Yes.
interview with Ben Shapiro? I didn't. What was it good?
Yeah. Well, one of the things that she said that I absolutely love is she said something similar as to what I've been saying, as you don't want the Canada to be to become your 51st state.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just funny because it's fucking true. No intelligent Republican American wants to integrate a California that is woker than California into their country, into their voting polls. So
Yeah. I 100% agree, and I think for that reason it probably wouldn't actually happen. Tony G says, "What about The Last of Us?"
Don't get me started on
They
that
made
shit.
it
I
gay and
lost
lame.
my.
Had to toss it. The lesbian interracial BS. Yeah, that's nonsense. That to this day, I don't know if you guys played the game. That is by far my favorite video game I've ever
The
played.
first one. The first one.
The first one. It struck the perfect mix between like storyline and playability. It was so good. It was so good. And yeah, The Last of Us is so ridiculous. The Ellie is so terribly cast.
You know,
and then,
but even the main character
Yeah.
was gay in the series. He becomes to be
Who,
gay
Joel?
at one point.
Joel?
He kisses a dude. I'm
Oh,
like,
for fuck's
what
sake.
the fuck? No.
I actually
There's no sexual component
no,
to this
and
video
you don't
game
need to add
at
it.
all.
You don't need to add it. Stop adding it. Right? That's what like.
Fuck.
Stop it.
Fuck.
Stop it. Because
But I agree with you. Top 3 best games I've ever played.
Oh my god. And
PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 4 when The Last of Us, and I play all my games at the hardest level. Like whatever the level is, I beat it at that level. And those fucking monsters, when they start screaming after you and running after you, it's like Dead Space. Have you ever played Dead Space?
No.
Oh, bro,
is
it
it
takes
good?
the horror. Oh, it's so. The Last of Us has a better story. Like it's very
Okay.
character driven.
It's
You
so
actually,
good. The character development is incredible.
Dead Space takes the fear that you kind of feel in The Last of Us
Yep.
times 10.
Oh,
Like you're
really,
stuck
eh?
on a spaceship where it's invaded by aliens, and the only way you can kill them at the beginning is chopping their arms. And
Okay.
they wail their arms at you, and they run after you, and they scream at you. And you have a tiny little gun, and you're trying to shoot their arm off. Oh yeah, Pidoo, pidoo. But yeah,
No, fuck, Last of Us, man, is so good. I'm gonna try that game you talked about because, like, I don't know,
but Dead
man.
Space, they have a bunch of them. They have a bunch of them.
It's that good, eh? I remember saying years ago, like, if you had to have one example of like masculinity, like true healthy masculinity, it's
Joel
in The Last of Us.
Agreed.
Like just like could not have done a better job of it. Just quiet,
Doesn't want to
unassuming,
do it. Does not want to do it.
100%. Still had contact, like still able to express emotions and show them, but he was a hard man. Like you'd have to be, of course, in that scenario. But his priorities were right. He understood his role as protector. Just such a great character. I cannot. If you haven't played the game, even if you're not a big gamer, I promise you will love it. The Last of Us, the first one.
So yeah, like you can Google it. The Last of Us. Joel kissed a dude.
Oh, that's so
in the
bad.
series.
Why?
I never watched it because as soon as they started showing, they don't stand to the game. So as soon as I saw woke Hollywood try to take my favorite video game, like at least top 3 best video games, I'm like,
Yep.
oh.
Why
Couldn't it be Clint Eastwood? Why wasn't Clint Eastwood responsible for producing that series? That would have been fucking
that would have been
epic.
incredible. That would have been really, really good. As Robin says, I was not expecting that makeout scene when she told her she was pregnant. I was like, what the fuck, lols. Yeah, where she's like, I'm gonna be a dad. No, you're not. You're a woman. You're not the dad. Alien
Nick is
Isolation
talking video games
is the best horror survival game. Have you played it?
Others, no, I stopped playing a few years ago because it's way too fucking addictive, and I just can't. I don't have the time to do it. But hold on. PS4. There's a game that was released on the PS4 that was so underrated. I would argue this is also like top 3 best games. I'm gonna find the name, but it's about a warrior woman from the northern tribes back in the day. She's like a Viking equivalent,
Like a Celtic or something?
yeah, her husband dies, and the whole game is for her to try to go get his soul in hell.
Is it one of the Assassin's Creeds, or is it
no,
a
no,
different
no,
game?
no. That's know Assassin's Creed is so gay compared to this, like so gay.
Was her name like
No,
is it
no.
like Boudica or something like that, or
It's
yeah.
it's very interesting because the whole game you think that she's possessed by demons because she hears voices.
Mhm.
You don't know, is she fucking crazy? Is she talking to demons? The game was dedicated to people with mental health issues. The game is brilliant. It is so hard, so good, and it is freaky. Heavenly Sword, no, it's not. I will have to find it. But should we address some? Do you want to take comments? Because now we're all talking video games. We're so off topic, but I'm such a gamer at heart. I grew up playing Nintendo and Atari. So
Yeah, no, but I think this is a fun conversation.
I love this.
And
shit,
honestly, like because it does fit into the the Political Orphans remit, because we're talking about like DEI stuff.
Yeah.
Here's a good comment from Joe. Because we were talking about Idris Elba as 007, says he's believable if you think of 007 as a job designation instead of an individual. And I agree with you. Like, to me, it's not like and I don't think anyone here is saying you don't want to see black people or whatever in movies. It has to make sense, right? Fucking the bald black woman as Jesus Christ doesn't make sense. That they them who played Ellie on Last of Us, it doesn't make sense. But Idris Elba as 007, I could definitely buy that. He's got the presence of character. And in some ways, that shows the harm of the DEI thing, because people will automatically jump on that and say, "Oh, it's a DEI thing. It's just woke bullshit."
But I like that guy. That guy. Elba is cool.
And he doesn't deserve that, right? He doesn't deserve that for that, because I think he is a good 007. I like that guy too. He's got the it factor.
The name of the game I was looking for is Hellblade. It's called Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. That game is fucking epic. So good. You can't die. You barely get touched and you die. You have to restart.
One of those, eh?
It's one of those very survival game with puzzles. You need to puzzle it out.
Oh, I love that.
So yeah, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, and it's dark. Like, you play that shit in the dark, like alone, you'll jump. You're just like, what the fuck? You play on a good sound system, you're gonna flip. So God of War, Last of Us, and Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, top 3.
God of War,
and I played them from the first one, like ripping shit apart. I fucking love God of War. Like, the guy's such an asshole. I fucking love that guy.
Joe says Ben Shapiro has the most punchable face in America. I'm not even sure what that's a reference to, but I agree. He's got the Weasley punchable face.
Yeah, no, agreed.
But let's see.
Continue taking some of those. I'll be right back, and then we should talk about the Melendez brothers.
Oh yeah, we'll end with that. Devil is Due says Dead Space is so good. Play the remake. I'll have to try that. I have not played that one. Here's something that is slightly off topic to what we're talking about. Bumpy Johnson says Derek Chauvin might actually get pardoned. I mean, that would be a pretty controversial one. What do you guys think? Like, when you say, Bumpy, when you say he might actually, do you mean there's talk of it that Trump is trying to do it? I don't know how I would feel about that, to be honest. I can see the argument for either side, and I don't think I have a strong opinion on either one. Joe says Chauvin was convicted on a state level, knowing the state level pardon. Oh, that's true. Because yes, he was not convicted. Trump can only pardon for federal charges, and I do not believe that he was convicted at the federal level.
I can address that. This is something I've been covering ever since it came out. I will tell you right now, Derek Chauvin should have never been in jail. He was crucified in the public space they needed somebody to blame, because if you look at the original coroner's report and you look at the doctor that took him at the emergency, they both agreed that he died from an opioid overdose. If you look, they like to show you that knee on the back, which is, for the people out there, it is an approved technique that police can use. Derek Chauvin is like a 5'8" dude.
Mhm.
And what was his name? The black guy, the guy that died,
George Floyd.
George Floyd is like 6'4", 260 pounds. He's an ex-basketball player, and he's not listening. And okay, you can, I can't breathe. Yeah, sure. But that is the result of an overdose on opioids. It will prevent you from breathing. So what he did, should he have left it there for 7 minutes? Arguable. You can make a case either side. But if you look, the jury recorded a video right after they actually sentenced him. And they said that the reason they sentenced him is not for what he did, but for what he did not do. He should have done more. So that guy's in fucking prison for murder because a bunch of fucking woke idiots are saying, oh, he should have done more. It's like the guys, why didn't you shoot him in the knee instead of shooting him? Hey, bitch, please. You know how hard it is to shoot a fucking moving target? Now you want us to shoot in the knee? Yeah, sure. Rebound on the ground, kill somebody in the back? Of course. So if you look at this, it's fucking bullshit, but you're absolutely right. And Joe Stradamus is absolutely right. Unfortunately, Derek Chauvin was convicted on a state level, and Donald Trump cannot pardon him. He can only pardon on the federal level. And I cannot remember. I think Derek Chauvin is in an extremely fucking woke state. So only the governor of the state would be able to pardon him. But it's impossible. It's not going to fucking happen because of who it is. Like, I recorded so much content on him. It's a shame, because as much as Derek Chauvin is not a star police officer, like he's not the guy you should look at as in, this is the type of police officers that we want, because he's had a lot of problems in the past, but that doesn't mean that he deserved what he got, because unfortunately for him, they wanted a victim. They wanted somebody to blame.
Oh yeah, undoubtedly.
Now the big deal with that whole thing is, how the fuck did BLM make more than $100 million from the public and from the government, and have lost everything without ever giving money to anybody else than themselves? They all like all the owners are self-proclaimed Marxists that live in really white neighborhoods.
I think they're in Toronto. I think they bought like multi-million-dollar homes in Toronto. Yeah, that was a grift.
Minnesota. There you go. Yeah. It was in Minnesota. That's what
Tampon
I thought. Timmy Tampon is not going to fucking pardon that.
No.
This would be political suicide right there. The manliest of Democrats, Timmy Tampon, pardoning Derek Chauvin, ain't gonna fucking happen.
No, absolutely not. Misfit says he put a video in trending for you in the Discord. Pretty much sums up the stupid people in Canada. Guys, take the second here just to plug the Discord server, since we're talking about it. If you're a first-time listener and you appreciate what we're doing here, if you like the show, welcome. Hopefully you stick around. Throw some comments in the comment section. That is what the show's all about. And if you want to support this show, best way to do that is to buy us a cup of coffee once a month at $2.99. You can get a membership on the YouTube server, and that will give you full access over on the Discord, which is where Misfit just posted a video. Now you can still go over and check out the Discord server. You don't need to be a member, but you won't be able to comment unless you are a member.
Exactly.
Tony G says Daniel Smith for Netflix and chill sexy times. I'm not sure, man, but I got a question for you. So for the guys out there, Daniel Smith
and the lesbians, we don't discriminate.
Daniel Smith. Would you? Let's say if you were a single guy, Nico, because I know you're happily married, but I don't know. I kind of find her attractive, and I know, it's Not that that's, I think what I find attractive about her is that she just seems really smart. And she seems like a leader to me.
Is she attractive compared to other politicians?
Yeah, I guess that's what
Yes.
I'm comparing. Yeah. Like
Yes,
Danielle
but at the
Smith or
same
Hillary
time,
Clinton. I'm going with Danielle.
I don't think that that's the reason why men find her attractive, is because I think that a lot of men like powerful women, and that's a turn on to them. So is she better looking than the average politician? Yes. Is that why men find her attractive, or they're more attracted to the fact that she wields power? And maybe those men like to be on bottom. There's a lot of things that it could
Or they
be.
might like
So-
to be on top of a powerful woman, I guess, is the
Sure, or in the front, whatever.
Yeah,
I
it is.
don't discriminate, but I get it. I get
Yeah.
it. But is she hot? No. It's like, fuck, can I say that? It's like being the smartest retard. Are you really that smart? Like, but I'm not
I-
saying she's ugly by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just saying we're comparing her
the
to
Hillary Clintons and the
Eesh. Or to no, well, for May's for Canada politics, we compare her to Elizabeth May.
Ooh.
Ooh,
Not
yeah. Oh, see, there you go. Tony G's on the same page as me. As soon as I said Elizabeth May, he texted it at the same time.
Or Elizabeth
I guess.
May.
Oh, see, Bumpy said the same thing. Ding, ding,
Daniel
ding, ding,
Smith.
ding,
Oh
ding,
yeah,
ding.
yeah. It's a
So-
no-brainer. Misfit, can I have some whiskey first and answer you? Yes. Yes, you can.
Yes.
Joe
You don't
says,
have to make eye contact. You can close your eyes
Joe
if you want.
says wood. Wise
WOOD?
Yeah. Ooh, wood on both situations.
Hello.
Wise guy says, I think she's extremely hot, and I'm 67. Northern Hillbilly, he doesn't like Zionists, so that's it's so funny. Like same as Jason. People who that's a big who are really into the Palestine, like that. It seems like that's the thing they look at everything through. You know what I mean? Like whether you're a supporter of Israel or the Palestinians, the people who are really into that issue, like that's all they see. They look at every issue through that lens. Yeah, I mean, I think she's attractive. I think maybe a couple years ago, definitely would have been there. But I mean, I like her.
Well, I understand.
Yeah. Definitely, I'll put it that way. Definitely, I absolutely get it, 100%. Tony G, Stephen Gilbo has the most kickable face. Yeah, that's the guy that we played earlier. He's one of the idiots wearing the mask at the signing in. So, although he didn't have it in that interview, so it's obviously not that important to him. And Joe, where did he say? Yeah, just back to the topic we were talking about, like woke Hollywood ruining characters. Ellen Page ruining the Umbrella Academy killed me. Yeah. Yeah.
Ellen Page screwed everything up.
She screwed herself, man. She was like, she had such a career, such a good career. She completely destroyed it. Now all she does is fucking go on interviews and cry about how happy she is now while looking absolutely fucking miserable.
Yeah, we're not going to go down that path, please, because we only have 27 minutes.
Yeah,
to let's
should
talk
we
about the Melendez Brothers,
get
because
the
man, it
final-
seems like we touched everything today. We talked movies, we talked video games, we even asked if Daniel Smith's hot.
But
So
yeah, I
we
mean that's
clearly
that's the beauty of the show is even if you're not into the topic that we're talking about, still stick around because you never know where we're gonna go.
See, I agree with Robin. She looks like a real Albertan woman. I agree. I find her, wise guy saying, I find her attractive. Nico, she's a pretty woman. Brother, I'm not saying she isn't. It's just that there's a difference between attractive and hot.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, for sure.
Like
For
I like non-slutty looking women. Like I like women that are more how do you call it? Not distinguished, but you know that they have glamour.
Like modest.
There's
Modest dress.
remember Monica Bellucci?
Yep, Monica. Yeah, she's gorgeous.
Her to me, exactly. She's hot is one thing, right? It's like that dumb blonde that is fuckable, but you don't want to entertain anything else than that. That's hot to me.
Yeah.
But you look at a Monica Bellucci, for example, classic, like a classic look. Damn.
Yep, I agree with that. 100%.
Let's stop talking about women.
Why do you hate women? Your mother? Yeah,
Why
elegant.
do you hate women so much?
That's
Elegant.
great. That's
Yes.
a great word.
Thank you, sir. That is
All
correct.
right. So the next topic that we're going to hit is this one. Most people probably have some opinion on, the Melendez brothers.
Before
go
you
ahead.
do, let's talk about one single person that I find super attractive, Freeland. The wicked witch of the
Freeland.
West. Oh, but Jesus. Wow.
Yeah. I find her strongly repulsive. Although there's what's the other one? The other one, I don't like her politics, obviously, but I find her attractive.
AOC is one that bothers me.
Oh yeah, she
Because
is. Yeah. She
She looks good, but man, as soon as she opens her mouth, you're like, yeah, go back to bartending. Fuck.
She's gonna be.
So,
Yeah, well, she might be the next president. You never know. That would be
her with a Bernie Sanders as VP. Let's.
That would be something. That would be something. Maybe that's fuck. I don't know. I don't see it happening.
No,
I mean, I
it's
don't.
not gonna
Yeah.
happen. It's
Yeah.
not gonna happen.
But it'll be-
Melendez. Let's go back. Let's go back.
Yeah.
Let's try to focus
Let's
on
do
the
it.
Melendez brothers. So you
Menendez
have a bunch of
brothers.
videos, right?
So the
You want
was
to get
it-
some
so-
context for the people out there?
Yeah, so
I
the
might
the
not
video
know.
that I thought was gonna work, it didn't really work, and I can still play it, but it wasn't as good. But the context is, in case you're not aware, Menendez brothers are two young men who were convicted of murdering their parents in the 90s. I mean, if you're over the age of 35, you almost certainly remember them. It was, even if you were young, I was a kid, but I still remember it was everywhere in the news. And they came back, they got convicted of it. They said that the whole time the reason for murdering their parents, they were a wealthy Hollywood, not Hollywood, but Los Angeles family, was their father was molesting them, sexually assaulting them, and they kind of came back in the public eye, I think maybe a year or two ago, because Netflix did a really, really good one of those. It's not a documentary; it was a show. They redid it. It had like actors and stuff, but it was one of those ones where like the dialogue in the show was very accurate. It's meant to be accurate like a documentary, and that sort of brought them back in the public. But the news is, actually, before I get to the news, and I think a lot of people, honestly, I remember when I was young, I didn't really follow the story that much, and I kind of just thought they were guilty. But when I watched the documentary, it kind of got me back into watching it again, and I sort of revisited it, and I thought it was a huge miscarriage of justice. A docudrama, Nick, I think that's a great word. I think, the horrible abuse. The movie, I'm not sure. I think it might just be called Menendez Brothers. I do have actually one of the clips I do have, I believe, is a trailer for that movie, but it's, again, because it's a quasi documentary, it's informative, but the abuse was horrific. And I think, especially now as an adult, when you go back and watch it, you can tell, like, I don't know, it has the testimony that they gave, it has the ring of truth. It just sounds like someone who was abused, but also there's a lot of people who corroborated, maybe not necessarily the abuse part, but that the father was an absolute piece of shit. I think there was a what's the word? A Hollywood madam, someone who has like pimps out high class escorts, and they came forward, said that they would send the father children, and the kids would come, like, because it was that kind of a escort service. Maybe not children, but like underagers, 15, 16-year-olds. Men, some of them were boys, some of them were girls, but they eventually had to stop sending people over there because they were coming back beaten up, and he was a real piece of shit. So in the news,
that's what it comes down to, right? Before you go there, this is because I've seen videos from both sides. People think that they should be in jail because they've been in jail for 35 years now.
Yes. And
some people are saying they should have been free. It all comes down to, do you believe the story they're selling? Because that's
100%.
all it is, right? Because at this point, it's she said, he said, she said, because the father's not there anymore, obviously, to give.
Nor is the mother.
No, so do you believe what they're saying or not? That's basically what it comes down to, because people seem to be split right down the middle. Everybody seems to have an opinion. But if this is true, those dudes should not be in prison whatsoever, like at all.
Yeah, I think you got it there. It's if you believe the abuse, not because if you believe the abuse as they said it, then you almost certainly agree that what they did probably, maybe you don't think that they should have. I think especially the mother, some people say, okay, I get the father, but they shouldn't have murdered the mother. On the other hand, there's no way she could not have been aware of what was going on, and it's a complicated thing. But in my opinion, it was an injustice to convict them of murder, whatever debt they owed to society for murdering the mother as well. They've more than paid that. They did not get found. So the news is they did not get released or anything, but they got resentenced because the original sentence was life. They got resentenced to 50 years, which makes them now at 35 years eligible for parole. I think the broad consensus is they will get paroled. And and that's sort of the news about it. But yeah, what do you guys think? Have you if you're familiar with the story, do you think
you have a video? Because I have one here if you want.
Yeah, if you play yours, and then I've got one and I'll play mine.
I haven't looked at it, but it seems like they're just talking about what's going on. So hopefully they share a bit of the context behind it. But I have one right here if you want.
I'll play. Actually, yeah, you play yours, and then I've got one with them actually of them being in court and testifying, so you'll see their faces and hear them. But you play yours first.
This morning, the Melendez brothers reacting after being resentenced for the 1989 shotgun murders of their parents. Eric Melendez telling ABC News, "I cannot be more grateful for the loving encouragement and dear friends who have emotionally uplifted us," adding, "I want so much to bring healing to the family after 35 years and having caused so much trauma." A judge late yesterday vacated the life without parole sentence for Eric and Lyle Melendez, resentencing them to 50 years to life in prison. That means they're now eligible for parole.
Finally, after 35 years.
You have brought hope to this family that we didn't see.
Outside court, Eric's wife hugging their attorney who insisted the brothers have been rehabilitated.
The Melendez brothers have done remarkable work, and today is a great day after 35 years.
The judge ruling after the brothers, on a video link from prison, read statements taking accountability for the killings, which they have long claimed followed years of abuse. Lyle Melendez telling the judge, "I killed my mom and dad," adding, "I give no excuses." Eric saying, "My actions were criminal, selfish, and cowardly." A retired judge also testified the brothers changed his views on inmate rehabilitation, citing their work in prison helping the elderly. And a former inmate emotional, speaking about the programs the Melendez brothers started, saying they're the reason he left gang life behind.
If not for Lyle and Eric, I may not have believed that for myself as early as I did.
The district attorney opposing the brothers' release had cited a risk assessment, claiming Eric Melendez recently had an illegal phone in prison and allegedly traded drugs and helped inmates commit tax fraud years ago. The DA saying, "Our opposition and analysis ensured that the court received a complete and accurate record of the facts. Justice should never be swayed by spectacle." It could take months before the Melendez brothers are assigned a parole date for the resentencing, and the parole board must still agree. And another possibility for their
That's 35 years. Oof.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, what are they saying in there? Like he said, well, they also had an illegal cell phone. Yeah, I don't give a shit.
Oh, right. Okay, so that's the problem. You're gonna give me white collar crimes that they had an illegal cell. Oh, they did drugs in prison. What?
Yeah, well, of course they did. They're in fucking prison. I think that in some ways they weren't the most sympathetic defendants at the time. One of the things as I watched the documentary that really caused me to believe their innocence is they didn't want to talk about the abuse, right? Like their lawyer basically had to force them to do it on the stand, which to me, that sounds like the behavior of someone who is genuinely abused. And when you the Netflix documentary, and that's part of the video I'm going to show in a second, all the courtroom scenes, all the dialogue is taken directly from transcripts. So that is absolutely what was said. And when you hear the type of abuse, it is extreme. It is absolutely extreme. And I think, after the murders, they kind of went wild with some of the money because there was some inheritance money and, there was videos of them partying and stuff. And of course that didn't look good But especially, when you have wealthy parents, there's always that question: was that the motivation for the murder? I don't think they were the perfect defendants, but for sure, I believe anything that anything, like I said, any debt they owe to society, I believe they've paid it. I'm going to show a clip here of this is.
Let me just grab this, what Kashmir is saying right now, because at the end
Yep,
of the
you go
day,
ahead.
I get it. And that's what I said from the get-go, right? Do you believe their story or not? And this is where the camps are really divided. Is Kashmir saying they were adults and could have ran away, maybe stole some money? Why murder? Were they adults? I thought they were like 16 years old.
No, I think like maybe 21 and 20. Like they were young. Kashmir. So you go ahead, Nico.
No, but all I'm going to say is it's not like they're innocent. Even them seem to be saying the same thing in the video I just showed. They don't consider themselves innocent. Did they make mistakes? Absolutely. Now, the question is, should they be in jail still? Because they've been there for 35 years. If you consider murder, people get away with it for less than 20 years most of the time. So should they still be in jail? Because I don't think I haven't heard the argument of should they have been in jail altogether. That I don't know. And as much as I think that if it was self-defense, should they? No. But was it really self-defense, or was it more going after somebody after they've been abusing you for years? Because that's different, right? This is vengeance over self-defense. This is where the lines get very complicated. Now, I don't think, should they have done 35 years in jail? This is probably where you want to argue. Should they be allowed to leave now after 35 years? This is what the argument is, right?
Yeah, and to what Kashmir is saying, I mean, it's a valid point for sure. I think it kind of glosses over the effect that kind of a thing, that kind of abuse from your parents, from your father has. I suspect there's probably a sense like nowhere is free. I think they probably genuinely thought, even if they ran away, that they would never, ever, ever be able to go to sleep without looking over the shoulder. It's tonight the day that my dad comes and takes me. And even though they were men and maybe they could have both overpowered him, it's just that kind of abuse from that young an age, it paralyzes you. I don't think they would have been able to defend themselves or overpower him, even if they physically could, just because of the power that he would have held over them. Because it started when they were young, right? It started when they were 7 or 8.
Oh, that's psychological force that you have over children that develops 100%. Into adulthoods, and they're still scared shitless. Yes,
exactly. There's no way he would have been able to start that kind of abuse when they were 21. But if you started at 7, you could be a 90-year-old man and frail and decrepit, and they could be 30 years old bodybuilders. You're going to have that power over them. And I think they probably just felt there was just no other way they could do it. As you said, I think they realized mistakes were made. And you could make the case that some form of jail sentence was appropriate, but I think 35 years is enough. I've got, so I've got.
You want to play that?
Yeah, I've got this clip here. It's only 30 seconds. Okay, something music. Fucking TikTok. Yeah, if you watch the video, I can't.
That's the man here. That raped me.
Yeah, other people came out and said that he had raped them, other young boys. So one thing I think it was really
that's what Robin is saying, right?
Yeah. Oh, is she here? The Melendez brothers were watching how their father was hurting other kids. Yeah, and they could have said, okay, well, even if we get away, he's going to keep doing this. And in that case, you could say they did a service. He sounds like an absolute monster. And I think, one thing that stands out to me is how the whole family wants them out. You know what I mean? The whole family is aware that. So it's a tough case, but I think justice would be to let them out.
At this point, again, we're not arguing should they have been in jail or not, because I don't know enough to actually say yay or nay. I wasn't there either. Mm-hmm. But after 35 years, should they still be in jail? I don't see it. I really, nobody can convince me that those people still need to be in prison.
They're
if
not
we
a threat.
agree that there was abuse. Now, if there wasn't abuse and it's all bullshit and they murdered their parents and fucking die in jail,
100%,
rot,
100%.
rot, motherfuckers. But if there was, we have to agree that do we agree that there was abuse or not? If there was abuse, then they should not be in prison right now, at least. Should they have been in the first place? Well, again, was it self-defense or vengeance? This is the hard line. If that guy was still touching kids and that's why they did it, we're talking about another line here. That is one thing. If I ever end up in jail, is because of that. If I ever end up in prison, is because I found somebody that was touching kids and I committed a murder. Like,
Yeah.
this is the only reason you'll probably ever see me in jail outside of free speech laws in Canada. But
And yeah, exactly.
this is my line. This is don't fuck with children. I don't care
Yeah.
who you are. That is my no return. You cannot fuck with kids. Don't
Yeah.
catch me with you touching kids, abusing kids. That is a hard fucking line, and I don't know what I would do. I do
Yeah.
not know what would happen. I don't know.
I agree 100%. And of course, all forms of child abuse are all horrific and all should be punished severely. However, if you watch a show and they do, there's some detail about the abuse. It's not just, touching, like you hear Lyle talk about the times when he liked it, when he was only getting anally raped, because sometimes he would get the shit beat out of him as well as an 8-year-old boy, right? Like, this is as extreme child abuse as you could ever get. And if I agree, if the only debate is the abuse stories true, if you believe they're true, maybe honestly, I don't think he should have ever done time in prison. Maybe something like not guilty by reason of insanity. They go to a mental health facility until they're deemed to be able to be. That seems to me what justice should have been. But
This one is a hard thing. You really need to agree on what were the causes of them doing it. This,
Yeah.
I think, is the whole debate, is why did they do it? Did they do it to get back at them? Did they do it in self-defense? Did they do it to protect other children? Or was it actual murder? This is where the debate is right now. I don't understand why you would say that they shouldn't. If you agree with the fact that they were abused, even if it was really murder, if they did it in a non-self-defense situation, they really did it as vengeance. Release those guys. Like, fuck, it's been 35 fucking years.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
At this point, I think if Homolka in Canada is in Montreal right
That's
now,
fucking wild, man. Carla
she's
Homolka.
right around where I am, and she's responsible for having murdered her sister with her husband.
For
She's
fun.
free.
They did it for
If
fun.
that woman is free and there was no abuse here, they're the one that were abusing people. If that woman can be free, motherfucker, those Melendez brothers should be free if indeed they were abused.
Yeah, 100%. And it, we talk about this today just because it's obviously a big story, but it does fit with the some of the things we discuss about a lot. Like, for example, the need to everyone has a right to defend themselves, right? And this fits under that. You're right. It's a nonpartisan issue. The guy who cut a man's head off and ate it. Is that the guy who did that on the Greyhound bus?
But Jesus, there's hold on, I got a book. Oh, there we go. This is a book. I'm fascinated by serial killers, as in I'm just very the mindset, because a lot of them are made, right? A lot of them are made, especially by women, by very abusive mothers. A lot of because most serial killers, I think it's 95% are men. There's a very small number of them, and they normally are nurses or doctors, and they will inject into them. They don't kidnap, rape, and murder and chop heads off. But it's I have a couple of books on them, and yeah, there's some fucked up people out there, bro. Jesus.
Oh fuck yeah, there is. But I agree with you. I find it so super fascinating, the psychology behind it, just the deviance of the deviance of that kind of psychology. And Robin confirms, the Greyhound bus here in Winnipeg, Brandon. Yeah, dude was just on a bus and he fucking went crazy, cut someone's head off and started eating it. I remember that.
Oh, it's there's some really messed up people out there, right? I studied them too, Nico. Well, wise guy, you're fucked in the head too, bro. I remember living in the woods. I have 2 books. I have that one that's an encyclopedia, and then I have another one that is, it's literally called Serial Killers: The Method and Madness of Monsters. So they analyze what people have done, how they did it, why they think they did it.
That's cool.
And I lived in the woods, right, for 2.5 years, and I remember having them on my living room table, and I was having some friends coming from Montreal, and a couple of them I did not know. They were friends of friends, but they were coming to spend the weekend. Imagine stepping into a guy's house that he lives in the middle of nowhere with an encyclopedia of serial killers and another one analyzing why they did what they did. Yeah. That's the type of person I am, I guess.
Yeah, no, I agree. I find it. I think most people find it interesting, to be honest.
It's fascinating to me. Fascinating.
Absolutely, it is. So, guys, wait, wise guy. Many serial killers make it to government. That's right. Want to probably end her there? Do you think?
Oh yeah, we're done. We're just gonna take Robin saying, "You're just as bad as my daughter, Nico. She listens to criminal law stuff and serial killer stuff."
I find it super.
I'm fascinated by psychology. If you look at probably half the books behind me are based on psychology to understand the mind. And I have multiple certifications in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. I fucking love the way our mind works. It's very fascinating. And it really shows me that if you really want to fuck with your kids, you can make them in pretty much whatever you want. Really good or really bad. Like you can literally.
Young humans are we're basically like clay, right? Very moldable.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's why, all kinds of abuse is always bad and evil, but that's why childhood abuse is always even worse, because you're doing it at the age when they're in this very moldable stage. And then once you've warped them through your abuse, then it gets baked in, and that carries with them the rest of their life.
Machete is nothing. I have multiple of them. I'm a big fan of knives. No need for bag of lies when you lie if you own a pig farm. Those are the people you need to worry about. Somebody that has a pig farm.
When I was in the Picton. When I was in the army,
Picton. Yeah, that's the guy.
Robert Picton. When I was in the army, I had a buddy of mine from BC, and he used to go out to the pig farm raves. He wasn't aware of what was going on, but later on,
he was Epstein.
No, there was like thousands of people at the raves. It was well known. And then later on, he found out, holy fuck, that's fucking wild.
It's really this is the pig, bro. Don't trust. If you invite me to your farm and you have a pig farm, fuck you. Fuck you.
Did you ever? What's the Hannibal Lecter movie? I think it might be called Hannibal, where he's got the guy with the pigs.
Yeah.
The old creepy guy in the wheelchair.
The guy, Hector
Lecter,
Hannibal, actually.
Yeah. Got him to cut his
fed
face
it
off.
to him, and ate some people. But the story about the pigs, it's insane, because you can, I think, what is it? It's like 5 to 10 pounds of raw flesh per pig or something.
Yeah,
so they'll eat pigs anything. To get rid of meat, and they grind the bones. All they say is, okay, that I'm sharing a bit too much, but remove the teeth because they cannot digest teeth and jewelry. But outside of that, they will get rid of absolutely fucking everything. It is insane what they can eat. And of course, Misfit has pigs on his. Somehow that does not surprise me, bro.
Pigs will eat anything. Boston Terriers will eat anything. Yeah, that's just that's what you do. He's getting rid of the bodies.
It's gonna take a lot of Boston Terriers.
A bunch of Boston Terriers. Did you ever see before we go? Did you ever see Dexter? Do you watch that show?
Oh, love that show. Love that show. Again, this is something I honestly asked myself. Like, as a father, you adopt someone, you adopt a son, and you can tell that there is something very wrong with that kid.
Yeah.
And as a police officer, the father just molds him into just killing bad people. You're just allowed to kill other serial killers because I love you. I think you might have a good heart somewhere. So let me teach you how not to get caught. but you're only gonna kill the bad people. I'm like,
It's I love the
Fuck.
plot. I love the story. I
Yeah.
think in real life, I don't think it could work. I think the kind of people who have that need to kill other humans, I don't think that they have that ability to like, because Dexter's a good guy otherwise. I don't think
I don't know that I would call him a good guy.
except for the murdering and serial killing. Yeah, I just think if you have that in you, like I think part of that is like you probably like hurting people, and like I don't think you could actually do that. But it's a fascinating plot. I love it. I really like how it's done.
Worst ending of a good series ever. You just get lost at sea. I'm like, oh man.
Is that what it
You
was?
guys, yeah, you guys don't know how to
Oh.
fucking finish an end. Like you didn't know. You should have just let him be caught by a serial killer that only kills serial killers.
Serial
that kills
killers.
other serial killers.
Yeah. That'd be cool. That
Or
would be
the
cool.
Just enough, chops his head off, dumps him in the sea, and it's done.
Yeah. Or maybe he maybe one of his last kills ends up being like a really good person, and the guilt or something caused him to kill himself or something like that.
Oh, jeez.
Like it.
Look at the big brains on
Yeah,
the
look at the big brain on
Robbie.
Robbie. Yeah. All right, guys. I think that's probably it. We'll get into the serial killer chat, but I mean, honestly, the last half hour has been. I've really enjoyed that. I think it shows one of the unique facets of this show. Obviously, we have our topics, but then we just kind of go wherever the conversation wants to go. Guys, as usual, we appreciate you spending your time with us. You could have been anywhere in the world today, and you chose to be here with us, and we always will appreciate that. If you are new, if you saw a few new faces today, please come back tomorrow. Stick around. Remember to like and share if you're from X, and if you're over on YouTube, remember to subscribe. Great talk, Climate work, Robin. Yeah, that's actually a great point. One of the things we've said is like, the time that we do it, a lot of people are at work, but you can just throw us on there at work and put us on like a podcast, and you don't need to like focus on it, because we're always going to come back around to some topic that's interesting. You might want to keep the volume a little low so the guy next to you in the cubicle that doesn't think you're a serial killer. But
this is a tip and trick. Next episode on serial killers, tip and tricks 101.
Exactly. Actually, I like that. I like the elbows up angle.
Oh,
too.
this is happening. I noted it. This is part of my list now. We just need a good logo, which we'll have it done by the end of the week, and we'll start designing some elbows up.
Yeah, elbows up. Cheryl, you have a great day too. Guys, again, we will catch you tomorrow. What are we going to do tomorrow? Yes, we are going to take a deeper dive into Carney's cabinet. We're going to go into some of the potential scandals and some of the potential, some of the picks that don't really make a whole lot of sense. And so if you're interested in that, you want to tune in. And of course, anything that happens between now and tomorrow, we'll squeeze that in as well. Remember to join us on the Discord channel where the conversation does not stop. And if you have any suggestions over there, drop them over there. And yes, that's it. Elbows up, bitches.
On that note,
have a great night, guys. We will catch you tomorrow.